How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Excuses on VTWProductions.com with your favorite show hosts, Still.
Fernurian.
And Volacel, and we're here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week. As best we can, that we've actually got a little bit of news this week, which is certainly an improvement over recently.
Yep.
So we will do our best to cover that for you. But first of all, if you would like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com or by following us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw. Or you can join us in our Discord channel, which is easily accessed by going to vtwproductions.com and clicking on the No Excuses logo on any of our recent show posts, which should take you directly to the Discord server from where you can find links to our channel.
Yes, indeed.
On YouTube.
So, a bit of an apology for the late start today. Everything caught fire. Not literally, thankfully.
He does live in Australia, so
everything
clarification is necessary.
Yes, the base state of a lot of things is on fire.
Especially if there are birds nearby.
Yes. We're actually having a heat wave through here, and honestly, nobody can tell the difference. It's just heat piled on top of heat now, so yeah.
Australia hot.
Australia hot.
It's Australia degrees outside.
It is, and this is the country where we have summer and slightly less summer.
Well, it's not like that everywhere.
No,
in Australia. Like,
no, it is
you
not.
get quite cool days on the coast, but
Yeah.
inland is like, are you in Australia or are you actually in hell?
Hell has less spiders. I
We
think.
have 2 days of winter a year usually. The rest
You get
is pretty much
snow
summer.
sometimes, and it shuts down your state.
Yep.
Well, you mean you get snowflake?
Yes.
Yep. On one of the 2 days of winter, it will snow, and then we're back to summer.
Yeah.
After a week.
So you're actually
It snows like a snowflake.
yes. So on the stream, you are watching me play Grim Dawn in Crucible mode, which is basically just an endless arena. Except I'm being terrible at it because I didn't get any potions before I started.
Very good.
Yes.
I see.
So I guess we should dive into weeks.
Go, Fern, go.
Oh boy, my week has been interesting. It hasn't been a whole lot of gaming. It's been a week where I've finally managed to be able to kind of sit down and focus on my dog training course again and start getting that closer to completion. And that meant sitting down and training my mother's idiot dog, which is a Kelpie cross greyhound. Now, my idiot dog is a purebred border collie, and unfortunately, she seems to be the outlier for border collies. She's dumb as a post.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she like run into a pole when she was a puppy or something?
No. Well, actually, given the person we adopted her from, that might go a long way to explaining things. But no. Best I don't say anything further there because I really don't want to. It's not that she's dumb as such. She has absolutely no attention span. At all.
Well, I mean that's not really an outlier for border collies. Most border collies give off that impression if they're not actually cattle dogs.
Yes.
Because they're interested in everything.
Yes, they are. And keeping them out of things is near on impossible. But the Kelpie is a lot more chill, and he's actually a lot easier to train. So, for the assessment that I've actually got to do, the big, hard assessment, which I've decided I'm going to focus on and get that out of the way, because the rest is just, typing things up, is doing a basic guide dog assistance type skill. So in this case, it's picking up an object and putting it into a pedal bin. I've actually managed to get him to do that in a week. So he's coming along very well. It's
How
not.
old is he?
Oh, he's about 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It sounds something like it's something very simple for a human to do. Is just pick up an object, open a pedal bin, and put the object in it. But once you have to actually break it down and teach it to an animal, it's something that's a bit more complicated. But yeah, he's coming along very well.
That took a month.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's been very satisfying. I've still got to, perfect it to the point where I can actually use it for the assessment, and I've got to change it from using a dumbbell to, I think it's a tissue or something. But that's the easy bit. As far as games have been going, what have I? Well, games and anime. I've watched a bit of Garo the Vanishing Line. That That was actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, I think it's been consistently pretty decent throughout its entire run so far.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2 core at least.
Yes, it is. It takes a little while to kind of get all the characters properly introduced, maybe about 4 episodes. But once it hits that point, then you can really get invested in who these people are.
I've been continuing to enjoy it as far as it's gone, and it's just like, you know, a completely testosterone poisoning action show every episode pretty much.
It is.
With, you know, surprisingly thoughtful rest episodes now and then.
Yeah. I have to say though, some of the characters, like they come across very silly, serious, but they've all got a bit of a silly streak to them. Sword himself is pretty fun to watch most of the time. He is the manly man. He is giant. He is muscular, and they try to squeeze him into a tuxedo at one point, and it just doesn't work. He's kind of falling out of it. As far as games, what have I really played this week? The only game I've really managed to play a bit of was a little bit of Monster Hunter. Ari and I sat down and... Yes. We sat down and did the Street Fighter event, so I took advantage of Ari's unwise buying decisions.
So the Street Fighter event in Monster Hunter, for those that, well, almost nobody knows because it's just out and it's not an option for everybody, and everybody's like, how do some people have the Street Fighter event? Well, it's in early access to people that have a save file of Street Fighter on their PS4.
Yep. So if you were dumb enough to buy Street Fighter 5, you have access to this event.
Or Street Fighter 5, sorry, not 4.
Yes. But
so yeah, we got the ugly Ryu skin that we'll never use.
Yeah, like its stats aren't horrible, but I've done it again. I didn't buy any potions. Its stats aren't horrible, but it's Ryu, and Ryu has been progressively hit with the ugly stick between every single game. Yeah,
the event itself is interesting though. You fight a supersized Barroth with preset armor sets and item loadouts.
Yeah.
So it's a typical arena guild ship quest where you go up there and you beat up a dude. But yeah, there was a whole lot of, okay, Fern, I'm going to put it to sleep. Use your barrels.
Yep, we did that a few times. It wasn't hard. Like, Barroth isn't the hardest fight, you know, when he sticks around.
Yeah, it's just, I have geared myself to be, like, immune to elemental blight, so when I got water blight on, I've been conditioning myself not to worry about it.
Now you got to worry about stamina again.
Yeah, so especially with dual blades, and the fact that I couldn't carry rations with me really threw me off. Because when I'm using dual blades, because you used hammers from the options available, and there's only 5 weapon choices.
Yeah,
and the one I picked was dual blades because that's the one of the 5 that I was most comfortable with. But with dual blades, it is very common for me to use a ration to get my stamina back after a full demon mode usage, so that I can just keep going. And that doesn't work with well done stakes.
Nope. Because you got well done stakes. They restore more stamina, but they take time. And
like I don't ever cook my raw meat with the spittle. I always get rations because I play dual blade so much.
Yeah, of all the weapons, dual blade is the single most punishing on stamina I've found.
Yeah.
Like hammer, you eat a well done steak at the start, and you're done. That's it. You don't need to do it again.
That is not the case for dual blades.
Nope.
No, so yeah, I have a few well-done steaks, but I mostly use rations. And getting in there with no rations with water blight on me, I'm like, I don't have any stamina. And then the Barroth comes and runs me over.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of sad to say we both got ourselves killed a couple of times in it.
Yeah.
Mostly because we were just screwing around.
The last time we were absolutely messing around.
Oh, completely.
We're not super... I was using a weapon I wasn't super familiar with a ammo loadout that I had no idea what the numbers were for each ammo type. Just trying to figure out what it did. Although it did a lot of damage. If I'd practiced with it, we probably could have killed it and gotten the gold award, but we only got silvers for every single attempt we did.
Yeah. Silver's not hard to get.
We never were bad enough to get bronze, though. Yeah, we were never bad enough to get bronze. Even when our first attempt, we were not used to the gear sets they gave us, and we got run over.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't screw around that much.
Yeah.
But so it's an easy event. It's a fun event. It's not like the Horizon Zero Dawn event, which was, irritating.
Yeah, really obnoxious. Use the photography lizard to take pictures of the birds so they fall down, then beat up the birds.
Yes. At least it lets you bring in your own gear for that.
Yeah, so it's really easy. I
Yeah.
actually killed the photography lizard, just took a bow in there.
Okay. I didn't even bother. I just ignored the thing.
Yeah, I didn't feel like messing with that. I'm like, I'm just gonna go get a bow.
Yeah.
Just beat the photography lizard up with my dual blades, and then worked back to the beginning, got my bow out, and I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Yep. So yeah, no word yet on when that event comes available to everybody. But
Yeah,
the
they're
rear
real
skin
bad
is
at communicating time frames with this game.
yeah, but yeah, the rear skin is hideous. It really is. It
Well,
actively
you said it makes you look like Ryu. I mean,
yes,
we've
and
discussed Ryu and his ugly stick.
yes, at length.
Many metaphors before the show started about how ugly Ryu is.
Yes. Oh dear, oh dear. And the only other game I really played this week was Fate Grand Order, because that event's still going on. And it is a grind.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Gacha game events are grinds. That's the whole point.
They are. But, yeah, it's good actually, because it's an event which has really good writing in it.
Well, entertaining writing at least.
Entertaining writing, and not entertaining for the reasons that the other events were, which were just outright silly. There's some worrying moments in there, just some really dark bits and pieces going on. With some of the way the various servants have been kind of corrupted.
It's like that down at the lower levels, but once you... Because there's sort of like a base story and then an extended story.
Mm-hmm.
And the extended story is pretty much all comedy.
Yeah, once
It's all just very silly.
it seems like things take a turn for the silly once Lancer Alta turns up. Her and her truly intimidating bosom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, things are pretty lighthearted. But eventually it gets to the point. Oh my goodness! I just got attacked by Rathian out of nowhere. It seems that at some point after you beat sort of a nominal final boss on like floor 6 or maybe 5 or 6, maybe 6 on floor 6, I think it is. Probably room 604. Things just sort of take a turn sharply away from oh well, this is an important event that we need to investigate. To Shaki's got a list of complaints that have been made by people living in the building about people living in the building, or by neighbours to the building about people living in the building, and so on, that sort of thing. Because she's the landlord.
Okay.
Her family owns the building, so she is responsible for dealing with the complaints by the neighbours. So she's going in there to deal with that, and every encounter is about silly things that people there have done. Like there's one where Kukulin is running an illegal gambling outfit out of his room. So it's got there are zombies hanging around outside his room who have lost all of their clothes at all hours of the night.
Oh dear.
And so Shiki's been sent to deal with that.
Considering Fate Kukulin, that does not sound entirely, well, at all out of character.
No, it sounds exactly like something he would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could be a good landlord. I wouldn't want to be her resident, but
I wouldn't want to
imagine
screw
she
with
could
her.
do the job.
Yeah, just don't screw with her, and you'll be fine.
Crunchyroll is so laggy right now. I'm trying to add Garden of Sinners to my queue, so I remember to watch it at some point. But the website, I got the series page to load, but the add to queue button doesn't work.
I had to remind myself, actually, because I went looking for Garden of Sinners on Crunchyroll, and I'm guessing it's region locked, because Fate Grand Order says, hey, go to watch Garden of Sinners on Crunchyroll now. And hang on, no, Fate Grand Order is also region locked. We are totally playing it against region lock, because reasons.
I'll try.
But, yeah.
I'll try sending you the link to it. For those that can watch it, I'll post it in the live show chat. But yeah, the Garden of Sinners movies are on Crunchyroll now, and I recommend them, even if a couple of them are a little iffy. Most of them are really good, and 2 of them are absolutely amazing.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it looks like Crunchyroll has been busy catching fire this morning as well.
I imagine a lot of people... Grand Order is super popular, so I imagine it's lots of people coming to watch Karate no Kyokai, plus the new anime season probably had a big episode somewhere.
Is there really an anime like that this season? If you say Black Clover, I am going to smack you.
I don't know. I haven't been following the season lately, dog.
Yeah, you're not missing too much this season. Or at least not the such on Crunchyroll.
For like a year now.
Yeah. I think there's a Fate Extra season. There's a Cooking for Ymir season, which is weird. But
oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, go watch Garden of Sinners.
I might just do that.
Especially
episodes, so bad.
Especially episodes 3 and 5. 5 is my favorite anime movie of all time. 3 is up there.
Do you need to watch the first few episodes?
What now?
Do you actually need to watch the first few episodes to get everything, or can you just skip straight to those?
You won't know anything about Shiki if you don't.
Fair enough.
The story is told non-linearly.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 5 is, I think, near the very end of everything. I think it might be the last chronologically, but you need to watch the story in the order they present it, in the episode order, which is not chronological order, to really get a good feel for how things work.
That sounds headachy.
Yeah, it's just when you start watching it, you'll see why. The first movie is slow though. So you're going into this. It's a fairly dark series, and the first episode is really slow. So you got to go into this with a mindset knowing that, but it pays off.
It is Nasu, I suppose. Oh, is the Ura
really
Butcher
good.
Involved in it?
No.
No, this is some of his older material.
Mm.
Yeah, this is some of Nasu's first. I think they were light novels before, or proper novels before they became the movie series.
I'm not sure what the original format was.
Yeah. So
I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just a bit slow. There's just certain things about it certain parts of it that I think are a bit, they're a bit too slow. Like, I don't really like most of the stuff about, Shiki's origin story and whatnot. I like the more sort of classically anime stories that are in there.
Mm.
Yeah, I like Leo's side story. I like everything in episode 5. I like the stuff in episode 3. I'm okay with Shiki's backstory. I think it's fine, and it has Toko in it, and Toko's amazing in this series. This is why she's the best Nasuverse girl. That box.
The Mystic Eyes of Distortion Girls episode, like, that just makes me cringe. So, not because the episode is bad, but because it's just filled with unpleasant descriptions of things.
Yeah, it is a dark episode. It's probably one of the darker ones in the series, in the movie series.
It gives you a pretty good feel for the rather unoptimistic outlook that the average person has in this setting.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it is a very dark series. But yeah, definitely go watch that. I do recommend it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll give it a try when I'm feeling in the mood for something along those lines.
It's
Just
pretty heavy material. Like,
yeah,
it's not light. It's not a light snack. It's not comfort food. It's not any of those things.
it's complete opposite, if anything.
Yeah, it's very, very solid material in a lot of ways. There's very little levity. What is going on? Did a flood just start?
Oh, if the Rathalos hits the wall behind him, he can start a waterfall that can actually knock him off the top, and you can do a punchy attack from all the way on top of the map to the bottom.
Yeah. Oh dear. Sudden right turn in topic, by the way. So yeah.
I was just a little bit panicked. I did not know what was going on.
Yeah, it's a chance to happen whenever Rathalos whacks the wall at the back of the nest. It also opens up a small little area with some loot in there.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right.
Fate
so
and Karno Kyokai. That's where we left off.
Yes.
For that.
So really, I suppose that's all there is to my week. Is dogs, Fate, and monster. One monster. Well, actually, not quite. I ended up after playing and screwing around with Ari last night. I went and had a crack at Diablos. And
you got run over from what it sounded like.
I was horribly undergeared for it. Like up until that point, gear really doesn't matter all that much.
Yeah, Diablos is going to squish you if you try to fight him in Anjanath gear.
Yeah, Diablos is the hard check at that point, and Rathian probably isn't too far off either. I haven't tried him yet.
Rathalos, you mean Rathian's not that bad.
No, Rathalos.
I've farmed a large number of Rathians and Engineer gear. So.
Yeah. Rathian isn't too bad, never has been, but Rathalos can be a lot nastier.
Yeah.
Tell that to this Rathian that's currently savaging me, though.
Are you messing with her eggs?
I was messing with her eggs, you know.
See,
back
that's
when I
why.
was still at the top of the tree.
This isn't just an angry Rathian anymore. This is a pissed off mother. So, yeah, I made a point this morning of going back and saying, just not leaving things as they lied and going back and just stomping on that Diablos' face.
So you beat it finally?
Yeah, I got him. I've got to make his armor, though, because Diablos armor is really good for hammers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick with Hammer Bro for a while. I'm enjoying it. It's not something I've played with previously. Because, yeah, hammers in previous games, they've been good, but they just haven't felt really fluid. You kind of hit once and run away, in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
now,
in group play, hammer play is stand at the monster's head and mash circle.
Oh, that's always been the case. If you're playing hammer, you aim for the head, because then you can not completely stun lock, but get close to it. Unless you're, horrendously overpowered for that monster, in which case you'll probably just cave its skull in and be done with it.
Yeah, if you got somebody that can get the monster's attention and hold it still, people with a hammer are really good to have in a group, because they just sit at the monster's head and mash circle.
Yeah. Or if you can't do that, you do the flying front flip. Over and over and over if you're in an area that allows it.
You do the sliding moves, period, if you can, with most weapons. There are very few where it's not the optimal way to DPS the monster. Like, Legiana often starts out the fight on a slope, and with dual blades, you want to do your slide as much as possible, because you will lock onto one part of the monster when you start it, if you make contact, and you will buzzsaw all the way down the monster.
Yeah.
And do a crap load of damage, like 20 per hit, and you hit it like 10 times plus.
Yeah, the hammer one can do 50 per hit, except for the last one, which does on average about 100. And it does 5 hits. But in every case, except for maybe 1 or 2, doing that type of move, the sliding attack, does ridiculous amounts of damage. And has a chance to mount.
Yeah, and some of the weapons, dual blades, again, they go so fast with their sliding animation, you can do buzzsaw for like 200 plus damage, 200 to 500 usually, and then you go back and do it again and again and again if you can, and you'll wreck monsters.
Yeah. Everything about dual blades is basically just buzzsaw, buzzsaw, buzzsaw all the time.
Well, yeah, you hit fast and try to keep hitting the monster as much as you can, but specifically that sliding attack, it finishes its attack on the monster way faster because it locks on and goes about that quick, and you're already done with the sliding attack.
Yep.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about when you say sliding attack.
If you're dashing and you are on a slope, your character will begin sliding, right?
Yep.
Right.
If you attack while doing that and you connect with a monster, you'll perform a sliding attack that does ridiculously high damage for most weapons.
Yeah. The way to trigger it slightly varies for weapons. Like for the hammer one, you need to be at full charge and release while you're sliding to get it to trigger. Otherwise, you do a different sliding attack.
Yeah, with the dual blades, you do a short hop and then you press triangle, and that's what causes it to happen. With bows, they have a sliding attack, but I think it's mostly used to get a mount. I don't think it does damage.
I think it's just a hop and a slash, yeah.
That's you can do that from a standing start. That's not hard. There's no sliding required there.
Okay. So yeah, I think bows are the ones
for the weapons we play with. We use the sliding attack a lot if we can.
Yeah. Thankfully, where Diablos tends to hang out, everything is slopes, so you can be sliding everywhere.
Which is wonderful, except for the part where you're going to be Superman diving the whole time.
Yeah, his eruption attack is not something you want to be caught by. And he can spam it sometimes, which is really annoying.
He will chain burrow and pop up under your feet, and you need to be Superman diving when he pops up, or you're going to take half your health and damage if you're at the appropriate armor level. If not, you're going to take about 80% of your health and damage.
Or more, depending on how badly geared you are. But I was kind of amused when you get him to his nest, where he gives up just burrowing into the ground, just dives into the walls.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I was talking about fighting Diablos on the show. You have to your objective, because he can go in that nest area sooner than the end of the fight.
Oh yeah,
And you do not want that to happen because he is way too powerful in that area because he can burrow into the walls as well as the ground.
yeah. And if he goes into the walls,
in your power to get out of there.
Yeah, if he goes into the walls, sometimes he'll come out of the walls. Sometimes
I fell through the roof.
Yeah, if there are ways. I've never triggered the sand trap where he comes up and attacks a monster and makes a hole. I don't know what triggers it specifically. Usually, people say just Diablos has to be underneath there, and you take a compatible monster like Baroth or Beetlejuice over there, and he'll pop up and fight it. But I've never seen it happen.
I actually got the Diablos stuck in that sands patch. I don't know how I did it, but yeah, he got stuck in there. But because I was actually fighting the Diablos, there was no Diablos to pop up.
Yeah, I have no idea how that sand trap works. People tell me it works certain ways, and they've seen it do certain things, and I cannot get it to trigger.
Yeah.
I entirely did it on accident.
Likewise. But, yeah, I don't know. There's got to be something you've got to do, or rather something the monster's got to do to trigger it, but I just can't figure it out.
It could just be the times I walked over the sand pit that Diablos has just not been interested in doing anything that particular moment.
Possible, I guess?
Yeah, I have no idea.
This is one of those things that needs science.
Science!
Science!
Okay, so I've completely tranquilized that Rathian in her nest, and I'm now going to run away with the egg and see if another Rathian spawns to chase me.
I don't think another one will spawn. It's always the same Rathian.
Infinity Ankylosaurs spawn in that level.
Oh, those things are irritating. Yeah.
Like, I created a field of corpses to drag that egg through, and still more came after me.
Yeah. I'm glad at least Monster Hunter World, there's no instances of a giant boulder suddenly appearing and blocking off pathways, which has happened in previous games. You can come one way, pick up the egg, turn around, and there's suddenly a giant boulder there.
And then all of a sudden, giant boulder.
Suddenly, boulder. So that's really it for my week. Vol, what about you?
Right, well, I don't really have a great deal to talk about in my week because, you know, I was busy, as usual. I did play, I don't know, mostly I don't have anything new to talk about because what I did chiefly was play Monster Hunter on my first day off and FGO the rest of the week. I have made pretty decent progress, given my level, on the events for the Kara no Kyoko event. I've gotten, I think I'm something like 83 quests or something out of 90 that I need to get the last copy of Shiki.
Which reminds me, actually, the last 2 quests should unlock very soon.
I think that they were already unlocked, from what I've heard. But,
okay.
Yeah, it's getting really, really rough, we'll just say. The recommended level now is about 80 for battles that I'm doing. And my best servants are sort of 50-ish. And I'm still... And Hans is stuck at level 35 because I don't have the materials to ascend him. And yeah, that's sort of what I'm dealing with at this point. So, yeah, the fights, I've had to basically come up with incredibly beardy bullcrap strategies in order to get myself through them, using all sorts of shady manipulation and exploitation of the fights to try and get through. My most successful and most, you know, this is totally unfair approaches have tended to be ones involving basically stalling the fight for ridiculous amounts of time and just trying to live until the enemy servant dies of old age, pretty much. So the battle will take many turns, and I just try and survive while their health chips down bit by bit, as I use their health bar basically to generate Noble Phantasm, and just use piles of defensive Noble Phantasm. But that does mean bringing Hans along in all of his level 35 glory. So yeah, it's been rough, and it doesn't work on a lot of servants, to be honest. And it certainly doesn't work on that obnoxious obnoxious ghost on the rooftop from what I've found. However, I have also found that I can borrow a Jean, and that Jean can solo that ghost down, a couple 100,000 hit points if you're lucky. So if I can just set up right, then if I'm patient enough, I should still be able to bring it down. And that's kind of what I'm banking on at this point, to try and get through that. Because I need to get 90 to get the last key. However, all is not lost if I don't manage to get 90 missions done, because a rerun of the event has been announced for Japan. So eventually it will come up again, and I'll have the opportunity to get the last Noble Phantasm card. But I would also like to be able to get to the point where I can. Oh my goodness! Did my character just drop the egg? She did, because I was talking and holding down the run button.
Yep.
And I ran out of step.
Stand reaches 0. Drop the egg.
I thought that would just make me slow down.
Nope.
Oh, anyway, back to what I was saying. Before that embarrassing mishap, I will get an opportunity to run it again, and I'm glad that they do reruns on these things, because I have missed some events that I would very much like to do. I got to meet the Nobunaga character for the first time on room 801 of the apartment block, and she's rather adorable and sort of pathetic in a way.
Yes.
But yeah, it's and she had really cool fight animations as well. But,
extremely.
Yeah, it's been a massive time sink for me.
Ouch.
Because they have structured it quite effectively to have everything be, this is quite clearly almost possible, and you're within reach of being able to accomplish it. You're at all times within reach of something interesting. The rewards are good. The fight difficulties are pitched very nicely, so somebody like me actually stands a reasonable chance. And even as somebody who is even newer than me and or doesn't want to spend as much time as me, can judiciously invest what time they have and come out with pretty massive rewards.
Yes.
Like you can get important materials for ascending your servants even at a low level. You can get quite a large chunk of EXP for your characters very inexpensively. You can get a whole pile of mana prisms if what you're after is trying to get summon tickets from the shop or get EXP card packages from the shop and things like that. So yeah, they've managed to pitch it pretty well. I've seen complaints on the internet that about other events being, virtually impossible to get the things that you want, but this one seems to be pitched very well, and I'm continuing to enjoy it, mainly because it's got they put in enough writing that is funny to keep you entertained. Although, as Fern said, there's a humongous amount of grind, and I'm currently stuck at what is possibly the worst part of the grind, which, because my servants are low level, I can't farm the really hard fights, so I have to farm the easy ones, meaning I basically have to sink a huge amount of AP into almost no reward until I can clear the quest, because I've got to kill like 200 bog standard zombies at this point.
Yay,
So,
zombies.
Yeah, I'll be stuck in that hell, and then even if I get all of the things I think I can do, that'll still leave me 3 missions short of the 90 that I need, and that means that eventually I'm going to have to stick my hand back in that meat grinder.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I have played a little bit of Monster Hunter. I'm still nowhere near caught up to these other guys, but
You're not that far behind me.
I have played a bit, and mainly I don't make much progress because I get caught up farming things and just sort of wandering around and mostly getting lost. Getting lost is the thing that I tend to do more than anything else. Woo, I completed the egg quest, mainly by putting the Rathian to sleep rather than actually avoiding it. But yeah, so I've gotten to the zone which has like tar pits and bones and poison gas and all sorts of horrid things.
Yes.
And it's another stage with so much verticality that I can't keep track of which floor I'm on. But yeah, the game continues to be very solid. Every fight against a monster is exciting in its own way. They all have their own little quirks.
Mm-hmm.
It just is a really solid product. It continues to hold up, and I suppose in some sense I'm not always like champing at the bit to play it because I have other things to do, but it always offers something for me to do every time I fire it up. And it's not dailies.
It is not dailies.
It's something I'm very, very thankful for.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's basically serving as my MMO replacement, and it doesn't have dailies. So
doesn't have dailies.
I'm happy about that. Like I can choose which monster I want to kill, and I can go and persecute it as much as I want, and it's fine.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I haven't done much else. What were you saying, Harry?
Oh no, it was just saying yep and agreeing. I was lagging a bit.
Anyway, yeah, I'm trying very slowly to get around to watching anime, but normally I sort of get off to a roaring start at the beginning of the season, so I know the things that I want to watch and I'm already into them, but I just haven't had time to really sink my teeth into a lot of them. There are quite a number that I'm keeping up with that are sequels or continuing from previous seasons. Garo, as we've mentioned earlier, is one of them, and it really holds up well. Like they managed to make their action sequences cool. They put in just enough of them here and there. It's just really great series. The other ones, you know, I'm continuing to watch Black Clover, but I've completely lost track of why.
Just
I have no idea why at all. Like I don't like it.
It's like a stupid person's Naruto.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's probably the main reason I watch it. Like the latest villain in the latest arc that they've just done, investigating some dungeon, which is literally referred to as a dungeon, despite the fact that it's not a place you store prisoners. It's like an RPG dungeon.
Oh dear.
The boss there is like the stock shonen villain trope of like basically an engineered child soldier whose last test was to kill all of his friends. Well, basically all of the candidates had to kill each other, and the last one standing got to leave, sort of thing. Like, you know, things that have been done for antagonists in every
shonen super soldier ever. Yeah,
and Asta manages to beat him down with the power of friendship, and his adoptive brother, what's his name? I can't remember, because none of them are memorable. The cool one. The Sasuke-like one.
The edgelord.
The brooding dark one. He manifests some mysterious ancient power, and Esther finds a mysterious ancient sword that he uses, which allows him to borrow the power of Nakama to defeat things. And yeah, it's just this entire like 10-car pile-up of shonen cliches, and
oh dear.
I'm watching it more or less to see how many more can they jam in there. And it has the most ham-fisted attempt at giving one character a crush on the lead that I've ever seen, because there's no reason why the girl from what's it called's team, the Brooding Dark One's team, would have any interest in Asta, since they've just met. And all Asta really does is fights the enemy and then takes a mortal wound, sort of thing.
Oh, and screams. Don't forget the screaming.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's sort of ambient with Asta. He doesn't do anything without screaming about it.
Yeah.
But no, she's shown to be crushing on him by the end for absolutely zero reason. Like, they have no interaction except Asta says, "Thank you for healing me," at one point. That's it.
Oh, dear.
It's like that. What they are trying to do here is check off a box, which is girl that has a crush on Asta. So yeah, it's really, really clumsily executed in every imaginable way. It's really. There's nothing good about it. I would never recommend it to anyone. My goodness, but yeah, it's a thing. I've only watched the first episode, or maybe I watched 2 episodes. No, I think I only watched 1 episode of the new Cardcaptor Sakura.
Yeah.
There's been an interesting leap in technology where mobile phones are a strange and mysterious thing in the original, and now everyone has a smartphone, and it takes place like 2 years later. So yeah, things move fast times in Sakura's world. But yeah, basically, I got a real The Force Awakens vibe from it,
Oh
in
dear.
the sense that they're basically trying to do the old thing over with slightly older characters and better technology.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's way less ham-fisted than The Force Awakens, which is not hard considering that movie's awful. But
Don't let the fanboys hear you say that.
well, I think most of the fanboys have realised at this point that it's
Most
bad.
of them have,
Like,
yeah.
That's what I've observed online, is that public opinion has basically, it didn't crap the bed all at once, but over time people have decided that actually it's really bad.
Yeah, because member berries.
Member berries just don't hold up long term.
No.
Yeah, everybody in my camp with probably not going to happen, but they can do something with this. Absolutely, I'll jump ship when the last movie just came out.
I still haven't watched that, and I might watch it when it comes out on DVD, but
I am not intending to watch it. I've virtually all of the people who I normally see commentate on this sort of stuff have said that it's basically a hate letter to fans of Star Wars.
It's horrible.
Like, it takes everything that people treasure about Star Wars and then makes fun of it in the most deplorable way. Like, not in the sense of, oh well, we're making fun of it the way Spaceballs makes fun of it, but in the sense of like, oh, this is just retarded.
Spaceballs was great.
Like, oh, do you nerds actually like this sort of thing?
Me and my friends finally went to go see it, and it was horrible. The worst thing they could have done.
So Star Wars has been ruined.
Yeah, it's pretty much been ruined.
I would rather go watch Attack of the Clones again.
I had a bit of an exchange about it with Octale, and Octale is incredibly appalled by it as well.
Yeah, I bet he would be.
I wonder how many of the people listening know who Octale is at this point.
Oh, most of them would.
I hope so, but that way I'll feel less old. But yeah, I had a bit of an. Yeah, Ari's old, isn't he? I forgot about that.
Yeah, Ari got older.
Every possible opportunity. Yeah, Ari's old now.
You're outside of anime pro tag range.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so I had a bit of an exchange with Octale about it, and Octale was incensed that they've basically taken a dump on everything Star Wars has ever attempted to do. And I think that this is just what happens when, like, laying aside the fact that the entire thing is an exercise in feminist corporate shilling.
Because they're still trying to push Rey, I suppose.
Yeah,
the cardboard box protagonist.
With no real credibility. But it's very obvious that the directors of The Force Awakens, and I don't even know what the latest one is called. Last Jedi, is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's Last Jedi.
Those two directors are completely operating at cross purposes. Like, they have no intention of building on each other's work, and in fact, they hate each other's work. That seems to be the case. Because, say what you like about how bad Force Awakens was, and it was bad, they still left a gajillion dangling plot threads to resolve.
Yeah,
there was a lot you could do with it.
Yeah, and it was still a bit of a love letter to old Star Wars in some ways.
But the new one just basically slices off all of those plot threads. So, returning back to my original point, I hope that the new season of Card Kurosako goes the good route and not the bad route.
Yeah.
As far as that type of thing is concerned. I watched the first episode of The Ryo's Work is Never Done. That looks like it's going to a dark place. And by which I mean that the teenage protagonist is basically it would be wrong to call him a shogi prodigy. It would be more accurate to say that he's a fanatical shogi enthusiast who loved it so much that he turned it into his career. And by the time he's about 16, he's already dropped out of high school because he's a professional shogi player and has managed to ascend quite high up the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically, when he gets his Ryo title, which is apparently something that's quite coveted, and basically this little elementary school girl is utterly inspired by his shogi playing, and she is she does have the makings of a prodigy because she's got a spectacular memory and can remember all of the games and all of the moves and solve shogi problems in her mind by just memorizing the starting positions and that sort of thing.
Right.
And she is so inspired by him that she wants him to take her on as a disciple, and he gets approval from his master to do so. But this basically means that you've got the lolicon setup available again.
Oh no!
And there is in the first episode a male protagonist falls on top of female protagonist who is naked scene, despite the fact she's an elementary scholar. Like they can't not do this for some reason.
It happens every time. Why?
Why can't they not do this? Like this is, you could still do this story without weird sexual pandering. Like you can, can't you? Like I would like to believe that you can.
I'd hope they could.
Nope.
Japan, you have problems. Please stop.
Yes.
No. No.
You need help.
Nope.
You need help, Japan. Stop it. Oh dear.
I also watched some of. Oh, it's got a German name. Märchen, I would say. But it's basically a magical girl show, I would say.
German magical girls?
It's a not quite working hybrid of a shonen magical girl show and a conventional magical girl show, which is definitely a shonen magical girl show because it has like a bold streak of Yuri drawn through the center. Yeah, it's not remarkable in any way. That would be the thing that I would say about it. Like, there's nothing to see here.
Right.
It's fan servicey, but the art isn't good enough for the fan service to be especially great. It's basically a bunch of girls fighting using supernatural powers.
Eh.
And it's not high concept. It's not high tier production. There's just nothing.
Yeah, we've seen it, and we've seen it better.
There's no there. It's not Black Clover, but it's in the same genus.
Oh dear.
If you know what I mean. Like, it's doing that.
Is there still so much screaming? Or is there less screaming?
No, there's less about screaming.
No, that's good.
I watched Katana Maidens, which is the same thing.
Oh.
I would say that.
So we have two close enough identical.
Except it's about girls with swords and supernatural powers, as opposed to girls with supernatural powers, some of which may have swords.
Oh dear.
It's a bit more serious. It's a bit darker in tone, and the stakes are a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Well, not that much higher. They're substantial.
There are some stakes.
It's sort of hard to tell what the stakes are, actually. But yeah, it's very much the same sort of thing. I would say that they're pretty much on par with each other in general terms.
That's not a good thing.
I think the Katana Maidens are slightly more world coherent, and Markin Madkin is more character coherent. I watched an episode of Record of the Gangcrest War, and one episode is absolutely not enough to determine where that series is going.
Oh dear.
Than it's pretty stock light novel stuff, probably.
Yeah.
The characters, you could do something with the characters. It's got a relatively strong female lead in the correct sense of she doesn't stop being a woman in order to be strong. It might have potential, but one episode is not enough to gauge that one at all.
It sounds like a 3-episode job.
Yeah, it's definitely one that needs that treatment. But it is also very sort of stock light novel type stuff. Very measurable levels of power in a lot of ways, and a convenient plot device to bind the male lead and female lead together indefinitely. That sort of thing. I don't think there's any others that I particularly want to talk about. I haven't had a great deal of time to investigate them. The new series of Overlord is just weird, though.
Oh, that anime...
it's gotten really odd and schizophrenic, and I have no idea what's going on. There was like an entire arc about lizard men,
Okay, just lizard men?
largely from their point of view.
Right. So, it's an isekai where someone ends up as a bad guy, and I said at the time that it was prime material for a comedy. But
It's mostly the series mostly plays out as a comedy in the first season, particularly. It has very dark, violent parts and very comedic parts.
yeah,
Mainly because of the warped personalities of the sort of people who are gamers and the way they programmed their NPC servants. But yeah, there's a lot of comedy in there, but it's sort of black humor for the most part.
yeah.
But the lizardman thing is just sort of came out of left field, and I really didn't need the lizard sex.
What?
Like,
Why is that a thing?
in context, I want to say in context it makes sense,
But it
the
doesn't.
context doesn't make sense. It makes sense in context, but it's the context that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So, yeah, do with that what you want or not. I don't care.
I think I'll leave that alone.
Hopefully, it seems like things are getting a little bit more on track for the main story rather than a weird social experiment being conducted on lizardmen by an evil lich who isn't really conducting the experiment. But the key factor that they're trying to communicate across that arc really seems to be that the NPCs are not set in stone according to their original parameters. Their opinions and can change, and they can learn things, which means that their allegiance can also change. So that means that while so far the main character has been able to lean on his status to maintain loyalty, this is not definitely going to be able to be retained into the future. If one of them decides that he has better ideas, they might rebel.
Interesting.
That's the main take home. But a whole series of like 5 episodes on lizard people was not what I expected in order to accomplish that end.
It sounds completely bizarre. Is it?
Like,
I think it's just filler or something.
It would not surprise me if like we never meet these lizard people ever again, or something like that. Because like it's just like, oh, well, now we've learned a huge amount about lizard people culture, and okay, pan the camera away. Like,
Yeah.
The latest episode did not involve lizard people at all. They appear at no time.
You've learned all you want to know about lizard people.
Yeah, lizard people are over. We do not need lizard people anymore. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. I don't have much else to say on lizard people.
Lizard people.
Their sort of nutshell rights.
All right.
Oh, boy.
We're not quite at an hour yet, so we can do my week, I guess.
Well, as well, we've got a few news thingies to go through.
Alrighty. So I didn't have a lot of free time this week, but I did a lot of diverse things with it.
Like grow older.
Yes.
Yes. So, let me just make notes. I have to take notes because I did so many various things this week with the little free time I had. But yeah, the first thing that happened was I got older by a year. I'm 27 now. I'm 3 years from 30.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Insert image meme about not wanting to turn 30 here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you've linked that to me 2 or 3 times now.
You've still got a few years to go. Quit your whining.
Yeah, it's the age I've been afraid to hit forever because it means I'm old. There's no going back once I hit 30. I have to say I'm old.
It's fine. Once you hit 40, though, you're at the point where you just stop giving a crap. So, it's a nice gap.
Yeah. So, that happened. The first half of my week building up to my birthday. My birthday was on Thursday. It's the day after Valentine's Day. The first half of my week, I was sick as a dog and had to work my butt off.
Yeah. That does not sound pleasant.
I had the worst stomach bug imaginable, so one of these two is going to get sick next week.
Yep.
And it was not fun at all. And I had a 48-hour cycle of work I had to just get stuff done in. There is paper about to fall off my desk, and I'm trying to catch it without making crinkly noises.
You partially succeeded.
Yeah. So yeah, that was not fun at all. And by the time late Wednesday evening ran around, I started to feel a bit better. I'm still a little sick now, but it's been getting gradually better since then. The worst of it's over. So I'm glad that happened. But yeah, so for my birthday, this provides me a lot of things I can talk to y'all about because I got many products to recommend to people.
To show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shamelessly promote, yes.
So I needed a new 360 pad for my PC because I'm tired of fiddling with controller settings. So I went to GameStop and asked the lady, okay, on a long shot, do y'all have any just in stock? She's like, yeah, we got a few. So I pulled them out and I played with them, and I found one that feels really good to use and got really good tension on the sticks, and in general clips in really well with the micro USB. I haven't had it disconnect yet. I reinstalled Doom to try it out for a few hours, and it's an amazing pad. And it's the at-play third-party Xbox 360 pad for with wires. Obviously, you needed the wired one, and I love this controller so far. And I'm hoping, because I have that now, I won't have to fiddle with controllers on the PC anymore.
And I would interject that if we've learned anything, it's that we need to wait 6 months to determine whether or not a piece of gaming hardware is any good.
That is true. Unless it's a race, in which case 2 months. Oh, Fern, you got real quiet all of a sudden.
That's because I had the Switch flicked. So yes, if it's a Razer piece of hardware though, give it 1 month. If it's still surviving, then yeah.
No, Razer in general will break after 6 months. That is the reason we wait.
At most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing I got, I was using a stock keyboard, iBuyPower keyboard for like ever, and so I needed a new keyboard because that thing would mistype and not help my already bad spelling when I'm typing in IM chat.
Actually, caring would probably help mine.
Yeah. So I got a new keyboard, and I got the Logitech 213. Nice. And this thing so far has been amazing. Like my typing accuracy has skyrocketed, and my words per minute jumped up by like 15. So it's a really, really good keyboard. It's got a gaming mode on it, so you don't accidentally hit hotkeys that do stuff outside of games. And you can set it up and program it so it highlights the hotkeys for whatever game you're using. It's a really good keyboard.
Pretty standard for most gaming keyboards, really.
Yeah, my G10 does that one.
Yeah, it does not have functions or a little screen on it like my old keyboard did before it broke. But yeah, it's still a great keyboard. And as far as increasing your typing accuracy and comfort using, it's a very tactile keyboard. It goes clackety, clackety, clackety. The buttons are huge, and I love this thing to death. It's got like 60 buttons.
What's it called again?
The Logitech G213, I think. The box is somewhere around here. Yeah, 213. Yeah. So yeah, the review said it's pretty decent. It doesn't fall apart. So I scooped it. It was in the box. The ones that were on sale at Best Buy. For some reason, the ones that were sponsored by Team Solo Mid are on sale. I don't know if they lost a match recently or something, but
they're an esports thing. They're maybe relevant for never.
Yeah. So yeah, but it was the best one in the on sale box, and yeah.
Yeah. I don't know actually if anyone actually buys a keyboard based on a sponsorship by a esports team.
I don't know. There are some people who seem to be really into it. I don't.
Oh dear.
I don't understand, but
I don't get it.
They seem to exist.
Yeah. But the biggest thing I like about this keyboard is how it moves away from the trends of keyboards nowadays that are getting the buttons are getting tinier and tinier and easier to typo with. Like, yeah, buttons are getting smaller and smaller and less tactile unless you get a proper gaming keyboard.
I'm like sort of ambivalent about Logitech keyboards because I've been using the same keyboard now for like 10 years. So it has not died on me, and I hammer my keys almost as badly as Ari does.
Is it a Logitech keyboard?
No, it's not. It's a Microsoft keyboard of some description.
Oh dear.
It is a gaming keyboard. Microsoft Sidewinder X4.
I think I had one of those.
It's around about 10 years old at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Had it a long time. It survived pretty well. I don't know whether or not it's got good tactile response because A, the buttons are all rattly because it's ancient, and B, when you've been using something for this long, you really can't make good judgments about it anymore. But the one thing that I will say for the 213, just at a glance, it has media keys.
Yes.
And that's like, not having media keys is pretty much a deal breaker for me. And it seems that they're getting rarer for some reason.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Media keys are so good. I'd like being able to just pause my music with a press of a button.
Yeah, a mute sound option on my keyboard is also very important for me when I'm working.
Yes.
So I need a keyboard with media keys are good, but if it does not have volume control on it, I probably won't consider it. But this one has both, so I'm very glad it has both. that was a big deciding factor. But mostly it doesn't do any of that new ergonomic crap that's taken over all the keyboards, where they like put a hump in the middle of the keyboard or slant it or weird stuff like that.
Oh, come on. They had those back when I was in primary school.
Well, they've had those, but they haven't been as prevalent in the stores as they are now. Like, that's all that's on the display shelves at any electronic hardware store is these weird ergonomic keyboards. You have to hunt to find the ones that are just a square box.
Yeah.
And the buttons are nice and raised up, and they're very tactile. You push a button, and you know you pushed a button. None of this, like, almost flat keyboard garbage that's getting stupid popular, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love this keyboard so far. I've had nothing but a good experience with it all week. I've only made, like, 7 typos, which, for me in IM chat is really good. So...
And that's a really cheap keyboard, actually, considering that gaming keyboards are normally, like, being skinned alive.
Yeah. Well, you slap a brand name...
$50.
Yeah. You slap a brand name or an esports team on it, and suddenly they cost twice as much.
Well, yeah. Well, this thing has the solo mid tag on it, so I don't know why the heck.
I hope you've scrubbed that off.
It's not on the keyboard.
Okay, that's all right.
It's necessary in order to troll Dwayne.
But yeah, it's been a great keyboard so far. So if you need a new keyboard, it's a decent price and it's a good keyboard so far, and it apparently doesn't fall apart according to the reviews. So I'll get back to you in 6 months when it inevitably breaks on me and I have to take that back. But so far, it's a really good keyboard. I do recommend it.
Excellent.
Now, what else? So yes, those were the hardware things I got for my birthday. I also got a new webcam, but I haven't tried it yet because my old webcam is like got duct tape all over it from having to jerry rig it to do a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah.
But so I just bought a new one. So that's where my Best Buy gift card went, was all that. And I picked up a few Vidya games for my birthday. My let's see here.
When are you going to play a few video games?
I know, right?
Hey.
So I haven't played. I didn't play Grand Order this week, despite being interested in the event, because I've got a bunch of good video games to play, and it was my birthday week.
You mean because you got the only thing that you cared about on the first day?
Yes.
Yeah. So the first, yeah. So the game my friends got me, my real life friends got me, was the Digimon game for PS4, which is the sequel to Cyber Sleuth.
I did enjoy Cyber Sleuth, even though it got a bit grindy and all the online or in internet's digital world environments looked exactly the same. Blue.
Yeah. If you like Digimon, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's
if you
better
like
than most
blue,
Digimon
it's
games.
fun.
Yeah, it is very blue.
It is incredibly blue.
I'll find extras like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it reminds me of a very Fate Extra Digimon game, but it's a turn-based role-playing game instead of a beat-em-up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've only put an hour into it. It's pretty much more Cyber Sleuth.
That's fine.
Cyber Sleuth was fine. So I mean, for the budget of that game, that's what I expect.
Yeah.
You can import your save data and get like your whole compendium and crap. I imported my save data and chose not to do that because it gives you like the EXP boosters and all that, and it just that can ruin the balance of a turn-based RPG really bad. And I don't mind grinding. So if my compendium was full again, there'd be almost no reason to play because the whole point is to collect everything. If 80% of the thing was done because I ported my old compendium over.
Yep.
So yeah, and thankfully you can cross-save with the old game. So they got me the PS4 version, but I could pull up the game on my Vita, which is what I own Cyber Sleuth on, and just push the cross-save button, and it would transfer a save file to my PS4, and then I could just load that save file.
Nice. I'll probably get that one at some point, but I'll probably get the Vita version. Just because it's sort of game you play on the Vita, I guess. Well, by Vita I mean PlayStation TV, but whatever.
Yeah.
It just means I've got to play at a slightly lower resolution. That's really the only difference.
Yep. I got a PlayStation gift card for $30, and I picked up Shadow of the Colossus with it.
Excellent.
So 1080p HD butt fur with new models. in the hour I put into it, I managed to chew through 4 Colossuses. The first 3, everybody pretty much remembers how to take down. I had a bit of trouble remembering what to do with the pony, but Mace Man, Moo Cow, and Sword Man were all pretty easy to remember how to take down.
I can never remember Sky Snake.
Yeah, he's a bit further down the line, but yeah, I'll finish that at some point. It looks really pretty, but the thing is, it is wonderful that it looks pretty, but being pretty isn't enough to get my attention anymore with a video game. It's not like when this thing came out. We have a lot of pretty things now.
Yeah, for the PlayStation 2, it looked incredible.
Yeah, and they have rejigged the controls to not be nearly as terrible, but they are still awkward. Getting Argo to move is a pain in the butt.
He's a very stubborn horse.
He is a very obnoxious horse to control. But yeah, they have rejigged the controls quite a bit, so it is playable. Let's see, what else? My sister got me The Legend of Zelda for Switch and the DLC for it. For my air quotes, Switch.
Yeah.
I don't technically own. Well, I do, but I don't. I just paid the most out of it, so it lives in my house. The Switch that lives in my house that I paid the most for out of the people that all pitched in to buy it. So I guess it is technically my Switch. But yeah, she got me Zelda for that, and I got Bayonetta as well from the family.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing Bayonetta the most out of the new games I've gotten, because it comes with Bayonetta 1 and 2, and I'm replaying through Bayonetta 1. And like in the one day I've played it, which is just today, I've already chewed through all the way to the 4th boss. I just beat him before the show.
Yeah, you can chew through Bayonetta 1 pretty quick. If you're trying to actually understand the plot, though, it'll probably slow you down because you need to stop and think about what's actually going on.
It's pretty coherent after you played Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, you've got to have some sort of basis for it.
I was amazed how coherent the plot actually was after playing Bayonetta 2. It puts the first game into a lot of context, and it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. That said, Bayonetta 2 doesn't make a whole lot of sense either.
Well, it does taken together. It's just, it feels like a midquel, which it is. They're making a 3rd game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to play Bayonetta 2 with a real controller instead of the jank Wii U pad, which the game almost required because of the menu system.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to play this with a Pro Controller. You have no idea.
I need to go back and actually finish Bayonetta 2 at some point.
Yeah, the game, it is a good game, but the Wii U's controller is terrible. The Switch's Pro Controller is passable. It's not the best controller. I don't like it as much as I like the DualShock 4 or the 360 pad, but you can work with it.
It's better than working with it, but
this
is after, of course, Nintendo's other controllers.
Yeah. So they finally made a decent Pro Controller that's about on par with the DualShock 3, I think. I don't like it as much as the DualShock 4 or the original 360 pad, but it is usable.
It's certainly no Steam controller.
Oh, goodness, no.
That thing, I've got one here, and oh my god.
I saw it in the GameStop while I was looking at their controller stacks before I asked the lady if they had any in the back, and oh boy.
Oh boy.
Ways you can tell that the people who work at Steam now don't play video.
All the people at GameStop, for that matter.
The lady actually asked me about... I told her I was looking for a 360 pad. She came up to me, and I was looking at the controller rack, and I was right in front of the Steam controller, and she goes, "Oh, you looking at Steam controllers?" I'm like, No. No. In just a deadpan voice, I'm pretty sure my eyes went wide. I'm like, No.
No.
Absolutely not. So yeah, that is most of the small games I played this week. That I don't have much to say on. The rest of my week, instead of doing the Fate Grand Order grind, I just haven't been in the mood for another gacha game. I burned myself out on the gacha game I played before Grand Order, and I've had Grand Order for a long time. Been playing it on and off, so it's not new to me. So I don't have the same enthusiasm. Even though I love Kara no Kyokai, I just don't have the enthusiasm to play the game right now. So I'm not even sure I'll do the event enough to get cheeky. I got the one I want, so. But yeah. Instead I played a lot of Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Yes, yes, you did.
I played it quite a bit, and I managed to get up to Super Saiyan rank, and I got my little win-loss dot up to yellowish-orange, which is the third highest you can go.
Yellowish-orange.
Yellowish-orange.
So the little dot from best to worst is red, orange, yellowish-orange, yellow, dark green, light green, blue, white. White is unranked. So anybody that's higher than green is a fairly decent player at the game. So from what I've noticed, anybody that's green or lower is a free win. Pretty much.
I'm still slightly disappointed that the lowest rank isn't just Yamcha, but I don't know. Save that for cheaters, I think. They just get forever labeled as Yamcha.
We'll get to the rage quitters in a minute.
Yamcha's OP.
Yamcha is really good, especially the way story mode controls.
What?
So, yeah, Yamcha's a good character.
No, that's wrong. That cannot be possibly right.
In a power balanced world, Yamcha can spin in a circle and has a hitbox that's all over the place. and his level 1 super hits like a truck.
Wow, Yamcha's actually good.
Yeah.
What crazy moon universe are we in now?
But yeah. So the ranks I've climbed through are: you start at Cyberman, the thing that killed Yamcha, because going lower than that to Yamcha would be just too insulting.
Yes.
So you start at Cyberman, then you go to Human Earthling, I forget what it's called, and then you go to Namekian, and then Saiyan, and then Frieza Clan, and then Super Saiyan. And I'm at Super Saiyan rank. With a yellowish-orange dot. Because the dot's what's important. So, yeah, the ranks increase as your BP goes up. And we have run into a bit of an issue here. Where they decided it would be a brilliant idea to say that you can't get one Chivo until you get 530,000 BP. To get to Super Saiyan, that's about 240,000 BP. So I'm about halfway there. A little over halfway there. No, not quite halfway there. I'm thinking whatever my current number is. Anyway, so the problem with this is people are just playing this game to hunt the Chivos because the rest of the Chivos are fairly easy and easy to grind.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you have to actually play ranked. And if you lose BP. Not very much. You lose about a third of what you get when you win. So you get a lot of people that are really bad at the game just trying to get that Chivo. They're going to rage quit on you if you start to beat them. to save their points. And it starts happening about 250,000.
I mean, it might not be good sportsmanship, but I mean, if you want the Chivo, that's just logically what you should do, right?
I guess.
I mean, if you only care about your own self-interest and want to be a douche,
that's what I said.
I mean, yes. But yeah, so these douche canoes.
This is an example, like sort of an archetypal example of gameplay mechanics which cause toxic behavior in the player base.
Yeah, that stupid Chivo is causing a lot of problems. And in general, there are people that are clearly not going for it that have a lot of losses on their record that just will rage quit anyway because they're douche canoes. This game.
Well, they probably do that in every game, though.
I saw one guy. The funniest rage quitter I saw was I went to his profile to block him so I didn't get matched up against him again. And when he rage quit on me, and his profile was like, just take time to chill out and smell the flowers and take life one step at a time. It's like the super hippie crap on his profile. It's like, just chill, man. And he rage quit on me.
Did he have a Goku Black on his team?
Yes, of course he did.
Of course.
Everybody has Goku Black on the team. Ugh, I hate that character. But yeah, the rage quitting is a real problem after 250,000, and they need to do something to fix it. There needs to be a penalty to that. Now, thankfully, they do have a match only with high completion percent, but if you need something like 25 to 30% quits to get into the bracket of where that won't match you up with people anymore.
Right.
So yeah, always search for high completion percents and just hope that you can find matches where you're going to win. It's especially bad for me, where I'm 250,000. If I get matched up against a guy that's like 350,000 and winning, and I'm about to beat him, he's going to lose a lot more points because I'm way lower rank. So he's going to rage quit. This is always the case. The higher points away the guy is from you, the more likely they are to rage quit. because they don't want to lose a bajillion points to a guy that's only 250,000.
Yeah, so that's
They
the game
only take a
mechanics
while to get
encouraging
there.
rage quits.
Yeah, you get anywhere from about 1,000 to 6,000 points a win, depending on how much higher the guy ahead of you is when you beat him, or how close they are to your rank. And you lose about 600 to 1,200. So
Right.
yeah, it's a mess. But for people just getting into the game, I do have a few tips for you to make this a bit easier. First off, don't do hard mode, story mode, and without interjecting some multiplayer in between, because you will build bad habits that you'll have to break. The AI does not play it all like a human does, and you're going to build very, very bad habits for playing against people. And you're going to get your butt kicked. And you're going to have to take about 20 or 30 matches, depending on how fast it takes you to break those habits, just to break those bad habits.
Ugh.
So be sure you
So in story mode, can you just rush it all the time?
Yeah, like it is very. It's a good idea to start the match off with a super dash. And this is the other tip for new players. Every single character has an anti-air of some description on crouching heavy. A lot of characters crouching heavy can beat out most super dashes, depending on the character super dashing. So, like, I carry one good anti-air character, and that's Android 21. And she has a tail flip where she does a backflip and flips her tail out in front of her, and that's her anti-air. And it's really, really good at beating out super dashes. Trunks has the best one in the game, where he pulls his sword out and does a diagonal sword swing upwards while crouching. So learn to use those moves and learn to use them to counter the super dash, because until you get to about 200,000, I guarantee you every single person is going to start the match with a super dash. And so just get ready, and just as soon as fight is said, count a quarter of a second in your head and press down heavy attack. And you will get them every single time. I have gotten in matches before where both me and the other guy have waited a quarter second after fight and both flipped and whiffed across the screen in the neutral position of each other because we were expecting the other guy to super dash. And then we have a real fight. It has happened more than once. Because you just learned that that's what happens. But there's nothing in the game that tells you the crouching heavy attack is your anti-air, or that it has invincibility properties versus super dashes. It just is a thing you have to figure out. And you can immediately do a super dash after you hit them to do an air combo. So that's what you do. You hit your anti-air, you dash to them after you've interrupted their dash with your heavy attack, and then you do your air combo, whatever you want to do. So that is what you need to learn to do that. Number 2 tip for newbies, or number 3 tip, I guess. Learn to fight Goku Black. Everybody's going to play him. He is ridiculously good. Learn to fight against him. Good characters to beat Goku Black with are Goku Blue, because he can teleport, and that is what you need. And he his instant transmission, his quarter circle forward version on his key attack, is not a beam. It is a teleport that will put you behind the enemy character and do a heavy kick. And if the Zamasu is sitting there doing his command grab, just instant transmission, and heavy kick. He will probably be stuck trying to do the full screen command grab, and you'll kick him in the face. So yeah, find a character that can play well against Goku Black. Also, know that Goku Blue has the last hit of his auto combo is a high attack. And learn to block it, because people will abuse this at early ranks when they don't know how to use Goku Blue just yet, and they just use him because the third hit of his auto combo is a high attack. So just know that you have to block high on that last hit. Let's see. And yeah, that should get you started pretty good. Oh, and never, ever, ever use a level 3 against somebody with Sparking Blast. In fact, don't use a raw level 3, period. Because any damage a level 3 super does can be healed back if the person just tags that character out. Because it's all blue health. So if that character sits in the assist slot for long enough, all that health will be healed back and you'll have wasted 3 bars. So I cannot count the number of matches I've won just because the guy was spamming level 3s on my characters. And I just kept swapping them in and out, and he effectively accomplished nothing. Only use a level 3 to finish a character or force a switch. That's the only reason you should do a raw level 3.
All right.
So yeah, those are your tips for getting started, and that should get you pretty far. You can pretty much play whoever you want. None of the characters are really bad. Although
Even Yamcha.
Even Yamcha.
especially Yamcha. Yamchas are good. If you learn how to use him, he's really good. Good Yamchas are scary.
This just seems wrong. I'm scared.
Yeah, my prophecy was right. Yamcha is a good character.
Yamcha is good.
Yeah, but there aren't any bad characters besides Teen Gohan and Krillin because their limbs are so short, they just can't do block strings.
Krillin has a big head.
Yeah, Krillin's a decent assist character, but when he's in the field, he can't really do anything. So, yeah. Just play who you want. My team right now in the game is Android 21, Adult Gohan, and Goku Blue. And Adult Gohan, there are characters like... I did not know this, but there are characters that have hidden mechanics that are not advertised anywhere in the UI. And I did not realize this until this week. And it took me about 100,000 BP to figure it out. Adult Gohan, I've been on my team since day one. I just fell in love with the character and decided to stick with him. He's the only character that's been on my team since the beginning and hasn't left. And he has a level up mechanic, where every level of super meter you spend on his level 1 super levels him up. And he gets better frame data, attacks faster, hits harder, and gets better super frame data. Like, it's just really, really good. So he makes a great anchor on a team. So he has moved from my second character slot to my third. And whenever I get 7 bars, I just swap him in, blow all my meter, doesn't matter if it hits or not, on his level 1, swap him back out, and when he's the last character alive, pop the X Factor equivalent and beat the ever-living crap out of whoever was dumb enough to let me do that.
Oh, good. So it even maintains it if you swap him out.
Yep. It is permanent, because you have to spend a whole meter to get 1 level. And blowing 7 meters is not a small cost.
No.
That's as high as the super meter can go. So yeah. I've been having a lot of fun with that team. Android 21 is really good in the air. And I enjoy her anti-air game a lot because the tail flip beats like everything, and it's really funny to see people just come and get me. And her ground level 3 is just a single hit command grab, so it's really good for finishing people. And then I'm using Goku Blue specifically to counter Goku Black. I would not use him otherwise.
It's just such a cancer that you need to have a character dedicated to just reaming him.
Yeah, I'd say he's in over 2/3 of matches I play on the enemy team.
Grief.
Do you think, based on previous behavior, do you think that Alexis will step in and nerf him, or do you think we're like this until they release like Dragon Ball Fighters Extend?
It's coming.
Stuck with this for a while. They're doing more DLC characters and intermittent releases, so I imagine what we'll see is the DLC characters will
counters them.
Yeah, there will either be hard counters in the DLC characters, or they will outpopularize him. But yeah, he's just really good. The character just has a lot of good, just basic things about a character. He can do both of his supers in the air or on the ground. He actually has 2 level 3s. One of them hits multiple times and is really good. And one of them's a big command scythe swing that catches you and gets you in a cinematic animation. It's just, he's a really good character. His basic moves and specials have really, really good priority and advantage on them. Even on block, he's still plus on a lot of things. You have to lose against him a few times to know when to hit him, and when you can hit him out with what characters. He is a pain in the butt, but once you figure it out, you're going to get real used to fighting him and just bring a character that's good against him. There are a few of them that are really good. Trunks is good against him. Goku Blue is really good against him. There are a few others. Adult Gohan's another one that's fairly decent against him. Android 21 is not good against him. I need to get her out of there if Goku Black's on the field. It's just, you got to learn how to kill Goku Black. You get used to it. You're gonna fight him a lot.
But Rosé.
I told Vol about this, and he thought this was way funnier than I thought it was. But I ran into a guy who has mic on, and whenever he swapped in Goku Black, he would have some song where the lyrics were, "'Cause I'm black, y'all," playing every time he swapped Goku Black in.
Oh dear.
It's become a meme in the community at this point. There's so many Goku Blacks everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a fun game. I really am enjoying it, even more than I thought I would. The hidden mechanics that I'm discovering on certain characters are really adding a lot more to the game. Because at first glance, it just seems like it's mostly normal size dudes with average bodies and normal limb sizes with Kamehameha waves, but there's actually a lot more nuance and hidden mechanics. So I'm glad I'm discovering a lot of those as I play. Like Tien has another hidden mechanic where you sacrifice health with his tri-beam, and you can shoot it multiple times and like drain all your key bar and stamina and your health to do an absurd amount of damage.
So that's the sort of thing where you wait for your relative health to be in the position where you can do a kill shot. You set up for that and just obliterate them.
You can, yeah, if you catch him. Although he does not do that health and blue damage, it's permanent damage to him when he does it. So he takes that damage for goodsies, and it's like 10% of his health per shot. Ouch. So you can do the 4 shots in a row if you got over 40% of your health, but it's going to cost you 7 meters and 40% of your health.
The other guy's not going to like it.
No.
Yeah, the other character's probably dead, and it has another way to kill Goku Black that I've seen people do.
I hate you this much that I'm willing to bleed away half my health bar to make sure you stay on the ground.
It almost worked on Cell, I guess.
I'm about to say, that episode of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, where you just keep Kikohoing Cell into the ground in advanced geometry. Like, it is scenarios like that whenever a Tien sees Goku Black, he's just like, Kikoho! And you can hear it across the world. He shoots it so many times.
And then he just falls over.
I'm at about, I think I'm like 53 wins in... No, I'm up to... I played a bunch more than that. I'm up to 60 wins out of 80 matches. Thereabout.
That's
no, not quite. 85. 60 out of 85, I think. So a little worse than 3/4. But yeah, I'm finally bumping into people that can put up a challenge. Because there's a lot of scrub tier people playing right now that don't have a clue what fighting games are because it's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you play right now while it's still fairly popular, you're going to find people that are fairly new at the game too if you're new to fighting games. So I'm recommending, this is the last time I'm going to talk about it until something major happens, like I make a lot of progress in ranked. But yeah, those are your tips for starting the game out.
Yeah. I'll probably get it. More to the point, what platform do you have it on? PC? PS4? PS4. Okay.
PS4 is the place with the most dudes. Although there is some pseudo cross-platforming going on because it makes you register a fighter name. You don't need an email or anything. You just log in with your account and then you log in and you type in a fighter name, and that's what you use when you fight in the game. You don't use your PlayStation name.
Okay.
Or your Steam name or whatever. So I don't know how the cross-play works and what's cross-play with what, but there is some form of cross-play going on. But yeah, everybody plays on PS4 because it runs the best and just in general is the best way to play the game.
Yeah. All right, so PS4 is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, though the other platforms are not bad from what I've heard.
Sure.
And do not play on East Coast US servers; they go down all the diddly dang time. And
the game is always in maintenance anytime that you have time to play.
Yeah, that happened a few times. So I would go to sleep and sleep a bit early and come back and play a few hours later. The UK servers are almost always up, and they do not have bad lag. The worst frame rates I've had there is 5 frames with one dude who had a terrible connection.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I generally play on the UK servers. I think there's Oceania servers. So yeah, you can play pretty much with anybody anywhere in the world as long as that other person doesn't have dial-up, and you'll be fine.
All right.
But yeah, that is my week and the games.
So we should probably go and take a break because now we're horrendously over time.
Yep, we should. So we'll be back after some music, folks. And we are back. That was felt like a short break, but anyway.
Yeah.
We have no emails because y'all don't love us. So we will start with the GNUs. So, Fern, you haven't talked in a while. Pick something.
Let me see. Alright, well, I suppose seeing as though I brought this topic up the last couple of times, and it's at the bottom of the list and already on my screen, we got a little bit more information about the DLC policies and things for BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a fairly... I'm glad they were honest. That wins points.
Yeah.
Even though this has effectively made this a null issue for me because they were honest about it, because nobody's honest about this crap.
EA.
I will take somebody telling the diddly dang truth.
Yeah. So yeah, we mentioned last week that there's a second trailer came out for the final release of BlazBlue, and suddenly turned around and announced that Blake and later on Yang will be free DLC, where the first trailer just didn't.
Yeah, and they basically said, yeah, we done goofed.
Yeah, because people kind of got a bit mad after that first trailer.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not at all surprised that people are mad. I'm not surprised that they goofed. I'm more or less just thankful that they didn't say, you think you do, but you don't.
Except apparently we do. So, yeah.
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 You know what I mean?
They know they need... So, yeah, they are very aware of the position they're in, and they are not turning into Capcom.
Or EA.
Or EA. They are aware that they are currently in the process of finish him on Capcom.
Oh,
they are doing the fatality. They are in mid-fatality at the moment, and they don't want to screw up the inputs.
I've seen an increasing number of people, articles, so forth, saying things about how Marvel has been completely replaced by Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
And things like that.
It's not too
we
far
don't
from
need
the
Marvel
truth.
no more.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, the sentiment amongst people is, in general, Dragon Ball Z Fighters is a better Marvel game than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Even though it has Goku Black in it.
No, I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate, or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had Virgil in it, so same deal.
Yeah, it did.
An edgelord that's on everybody's team.
Yeah, because he's edgy. Alright. So, to keep things honest, they've actually given us a full breakdown of what you can expect to pay for cross-tag. So, out of the box, for both physical and digital, $50 for the base game. Character packs, yep.
I should note that is $10 lower than full price.
That is also $10 lower than full price, yes. Cross-tag character packs. There's 3 characters per pack, and I think there's going to be 6, according to this, 6 packs. $5 each.
I think it's 6 characters, not 6 packs.
Yeah, it's not really... No, that is the case, actually.
Total.
Yeah, maybe. Either way. Cross-tag character collection. So, cross-tag character packs numbers 1 through 6. So, it is 6 character packs.
Okay.
That's a lot of characters.
That is 18 characters. That's pretty good.
That is a good roster. That is $20.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually a good saving. It's $10 saving. For the Deluxe Digital Edition, which is the main game, plus the 3 or all 6 character packs, $70.
That's $10 over base price. That's an acceptable Deluxe Edition.
That is. I'll take that. And Character Pack 1, which presumably has Yang and Blake in it, I guess, will be free for 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's not too uncommon for people.
No.
That is acceptable, I think. If they need money, like we'll talk about in a minute.
Given the current market environment, like the reality is, it's like how Ari always says you only need to be better than the worst guy at work.
Yep.
Right? Like, they only need to outdo Capcom.
Capcom's too busy outdoing itself.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. So that is what they need to stay ahead of.
Yes. The company that is slowly self-destructing.
And realistically, you can get away with quite a bit.
Yeah, and this system at least rewards the early adopters and fans of their products.
It does.
So, if you are a fan, you will get the first character pack for freezies.
Mm-hmm. I like it when they do that. There's just a little extra bonus just for being an early adopter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Capcom. I don't know how they can do, on one hand, Street Fighter V and Marvel vs. Capcom, and on the other hand, they've got Monster Hunter, which is excellent. It's such a, so mind-boggling.
And Arc System Works does, Guilty Gear, and Dragon Ball Fighters, and Cross Tag Battle, and BlazBlue.
And wins, and wins, and wins.
They basically haven't managed to have a miss yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to get top billing at EVO.
Like, the closest thing to a miss that they have is the sort of natural decline in popularity that you see with something like Persona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I would love to see Persona 5 Ultimax swap up.
Oh, it's definitely coming.
It's in the queue.
They want to do it. They've said they want to do it. They're interested, but they can't say anything.
Yeah. What would be really cool is if one of those
Go on.
Yeah, what would be really cool if one of the maybe character pack 5 or 6 has a preview of a character for 5 Ultimax in there, like stick Joker or something in there.
Yeah, or just as long as it's not Ryuji.
No, not Ryuji. Nobody likes Ryuji.
Girls like Ryuji.
Do they?
Yes, they do. The women folk of the world love Ryuji.
He's a big, clumsy goof. Admittedly, though, he's Junpei done right. Junpei is Junpei done wrong.
I don't know. I'm not... They fall about in the same tier for me. Maybe Ryuji's a little lower. I really don't like Ryuji.
Yeah. I'd rather take Ryuji over Junpei, though.
I don't know. But anyway, the point is that would be cool. I was going to say maybe they could do that. But yes, hopefully we get, they might do Joker. It's the most obvious way to promote it. But I think it'd be more realistic to show off, save him for the main game as the promotion character. And use somebody like Anne or something. Another character, or Morgana. Morgana would be a good one to stick in this game as a cameo character.
Need a white mage. And a mascot. And an incredibly annoying character. Because you got to go to bed.
Yep. So Morgana would be good to promote with this game as the last character pack. If I was them, I'd do that, and then use Joker and save him for promoting the main game as their character showcase character.
Sure.
So that is what I'll put money on them doing if they do that.
Yeah.
But, it's just as likely they'll just put Joker in if they do this. This is all if. I'd say this is about 15% happening.
Yeah. So I've got to say, hats off to Arxis for actually admitting that there was a fault in communication, that they kind of done goofed, and then coming out and laying all their cards out on the table.
So yeah, we haven't got to that bit yet.
There we kind of have.
The reason they're doing this is they're not Capcom, and they came out and said, we don't have money yet because we haven't got super hits out there yet. We're trying to kill Capcom, but we haven't taken their place yet. So we don't have the money from a Street Fighter or a Marvel to spend on this game yet.
Yeah, and the thing is that they're running a couple of top flight projects at the moment with Cross Tag Battle and Dragon Ball Fighters.
And Guilty Gear too.
Well, yeah, Guilty Gear sort of it's at the sort of maturity stage now. They've got all of the sort of core work that they need to do on it has been done. But the other things are something that has just been launched and something that has not been launched yet. And so they've got a lot of they've got a lot of stuff to prove, basically, to investors and to, frankly, their own internal board. But I think that this is also a case of this is just the way the market is. It's the precedent Capcom has basically set, and other people are going to conform to that naturally because they, you can basically. This is a source of revenue that has been established as successful and acceptable by Capcom, to some greater or lesser extent. And there's not really any way to change that at this point in the cycle. But
at least they're doing 3 times as much.
It's not oppressive the way some other approaches have been in the past. It could be a lot worse than this.
Yeah, they're not just mimicking Capcom's DLC policies either. They're doing effectively 3 times as well. It costs $5 for one character in Street Fighter V.
Yes.
And $25 gets you 6 characters, period.
Yeah. Whereas here it's $5 for 3 or 20 for 18.
Yeah, so they are giving you significantly more value for your buck, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And after being just reamed up the butt by Capcom with this stuff, I'll take anything that's better. Because monetarily, I just couldn't afford to keep keeping up with Street Fighter V.
No.
Even if the hard drive issues I complain about all the time weren't the biggest factor in me uninstalling, it would be unfeasible for me to continue to pay $25 every season for 6 characters.
Yeah.
For a game I don't play nearly enough to justify it.
The fact that you already paid release price for
a disc that allows me to download the game and then has the further restriction of requiring to have the disc in for the 2 gigs that are on it.
Yeah.
Capcom had it coming.
Capcom, yeah, they got too proud. And they screwed up. Big time.
Yeah, people just aren't interested anymore. I don't know, I guess they're going to be able to trade on Street Fighter for eternity, basically, but that market share will shrink. And we're going to eventually see the Evo where it's going to be Cross Tag Battle and Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball Fighters, and I guess we'll stick Street Fighter in the corner.
Yeah, Street Fighter's in there as a traditional for novelty and whatnot. There are wolfing dogs everywhere.
There are. I think we'll be surprised at how long DBZ stays in rotation. It's got at least 2 years, I think, and it might go as long as 3 or 4, depending on how they update it, what kind of releases they do for it, if they do their standard BlazBlue release cycle for it and stuff like that, because it's made a ton of money. It sold really well, and people are really into it and they want to watch it. So it being the new Marvel type game is also going to help. The fact that it has replaced Marvel is going to draw a lot of attention. It's going to get a lot of viewership. So I think the life cycle of Dragon Ball and Arc System Works in the top and the 8 viewable games is going to be long lasting.
All right. Okay, I think that's all we can really say on that one then.
Yep, it's pretty good. Thank you, Arc System Works, for being honest with us about why you're doing the DLC, about the pricing issues, about how you don't have the money yet, and treating us at least 3 to 6 times as good as Capcom does with the prices. Even though it's not Team Cherry or Team Cherry levels of free content or CD Projekt Red levels of paid content, we'll take it because it's that much better than Capcom's.
Yeah. I'm just happy that developers actually being honest with their public player base instead. Just for once.
Well, I think that the payoff for that tends to be very high when you are operating with an audience which has sort of like the central structure, a relatively organized community, because they tend to react in lockstep.
Yep. Whereas EA's kind of got this faceless mob of just random people. They don't even really talk to each other.
The best example is basically, a gajillion people cry boycott against Modern Warfare 2, and it has like 0 to negative effect on the actual sales and player numbers.
Yeah.
It might as well be free advertising, but people don't play fighting games, and the servers are dead.
It all adds up.
You need those people who are going to stick around to keep the fighting game alive.
All right. What's our next article?
So this is a rumor, but I kind of want to talk about it anyway.
All right.
Also, we'll do this instead. Just so you know kind of a continuation of the last one, and then we'll do the next article. The Street Fighter V character Blanca is coming out, and his model for the story mode looks so bad. It's just a plushie.
Yeah, why?
Like, this is the kind of quality you're getting from Capcom. You're getting a costume that's just a Blanca plushie.
The fact that Blanca's DLC at all is just wrong.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the video on it. I presumed it was sort of like a Blanca mascot costume or something.
Yeah, something like that. It makes him look like a plushie. We don't actually have gameplay footage of it yet, but it looks absolutely stupid. If I was still playing, I would play that costume like every single game, but
but that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
that's why.
Getting beaten down by a soft toy.
Yes. You get one character with one silly costume and 2 throwback costumes for, I think they're $6 for Capcom.
Yeah.
Like lol, what? And for $1 less we get 3 with Arc System Works? That's way better.
Yeah.
But
so,
anime fighters where?
People are less wah after anything but Marvel Please has become the new thing.
Yes.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
This game was terrible. What else is out there?
Yeah, people have stopped the crying about anime fighters just to play anything other than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Street Fighter V.
Yeah.
Everybody's jumped ship.
Ultimately, I suppose it's a good thing for the fighting game industry in general, but it's really a bad thing for Capcom.
Yeah, they've almost done it. They just got to put the last few inputs in that finish him animation. And they'll trigger it, and then Capcom will explode in a bloody mess in their fighting game division will anyway.
Yeah.
And then they'll be gone for a while until they try to break back in, hopefully with better business practices after they get owned.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 is going to get very interesting, I think.
It's either going to break the company or they're going to come out with an amazing product because
they
just got owned. Yeah, they got to blow them away.
Yeah.
They can't do this again.
They cannot half-ass it anymore.
I do wonder what it looks like internally there. Like, are they cognizant of that fact or not? Like, are they blaming something else? Because we oftentimes see these things in companies that go down, like, let's say, you know that game, what was it called? Lawbreakers.
Oh, yes.
Does anybody remember that? It wasn't very long ago.
No, it was only a few months ago, and it was awful.
But it was a situation where they waved their hands around and said vicissitudes of the market.
Yeah.
And, you know, yes, it is vicissitudes of the market. But it's also the fact that your game was worse than what people were already playing.
Mm-hmm. There was absolutely no reason people would want to go over to Lawbreakers when they had Overwatch or any of the other ones.
I mean, you can talk as much as you like about how, it's the vicissitudes of the market. And yeah, the market does move. It doesn't always sit in one place. It doesn't always behave the way you predict. But you can still be successful by making a good game.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody played Lawbreakers because you didn't come out with something that was better than what people were already doing. And that's what's going to happen with Capcom. What I'm interested in is, are they saying, oh, well, the market is just against us right now, but it'll swing back any day now? Or are they actually recognizing that, look, we've been pushing this particular line for too long, trying to do the same things in the same ways for too long, and we're paying the price. We need to change things up, or we're dead meat.
Or are they just groveling at the altar of the head of the Monster Hunter team? Because of, what do we do?
And at this point, you know, it's even harder right now with Capcom because we really won't be able to tell until Street Fighter 6 actually comes out, because we won't know what they're saying to the public if that's just speak to make it to their investors instead of to the people that they're talking to. Like, oh, it was just whatever. We don't know if they're actually aware of the real problem and are going to fix it with Street Fighter 6 until it comes out. Because they could just be saying, oh, it's, you know, market, whatever. Yeah. To the public, just to keep their investors as happy as possible so they can actually make Street Fighter 6.
We'll probably get Street Fighter 5 Ultimate or something first, but yeah.
We already got Arcade Edition, even though they said they weren't doing that.
Yes, that's right. I've forgotten about that because it's so unmemorable.
Yeah, thankfully it wasn't a price gouge this time, at least. But
it was still free.
It was it was $25 to upgrade to whatever all the current characters was when it came out.
Yeah.
Instead of having to pay for all the season passes, but yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it had a few. Anyway, but yeah, so that is the fighting game news, I think. So that ends the segue from my week to the fighting game. I'll pick the next topic since I think Ball's still a Monster Hunter.
I've always been in Monster Hunter. Also, I hate season passes. Everything about season passes is bad.
Yeah.
So this is a rumor to move us on to the next topic here. But it is a very interesting rumor. So, according to sources close to something, they're part of Kotaku UK, though, so they're a bit dubious. But Spyro might be coming to PS4 with a trilogy remake like Crash Bandicoot, which I would be fine with. I love Spyro.
I would be perfectly fine with that, because the last time we saw Spyro, he was slowly being phased out of Skylanders.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Year of the Dragon, especially the third Spyro game. Which, yeah, that one was a little minigame heavy, but it was still a really fun game. I actually went back and 100%ed it like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I rebought the game on PlayStation 3 or 4 or whatever and played through it again. And it's still a really fun game. I really enjoyed it.
Graphically, those games have not aged well, though.
No, but they're still playable at least. They haven't aged poorly in the way where they become unplayable.
Yeah.
They just don't look... They look like early PlayStation games.
Yeah. They're ugly but functional.
Yeah, and the good Spyro games were all on the PS1 for you youngins out there.
Get off my lawn.
You youngins.
Back in my day, dragons rode skateboards and talked to fat, possibly wombats.
I think it was a bear. It was a bear that took
Australian, of course he thinks it's a wombat.
I don't know, everything's a wombat. But he was also greedy and money hunger and was so much fun to beat the ever-loving stuffing out of.
Yeah, Moneybags was a bear, and you had to collect gems to give him to him to get him to move out of your path in 2 and 3.
Yeah. That was basically
then-
just extortion.
At the end of 3, I love how you get to go beat the crap out of him and get all your gems that you paid him back throughout the course of the game to get your completion up to 100%.
Yes.
That's the best. Like, after you collected everything, it'll say you don't have all the gems because all the ones you've given to Moneybags, and you just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
At the very end, once you collect everything, get all your money back. So it's awesome. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed all the Spyro games for when they came out. And Year of the Dragon, which I just recently replayed, you know, that was a great game still. And I would love to see these remastered. These were also the games that made me play inverted controls, by the way. The first 2 games were inverted by default.
Your rants about inverted controls over the last few days, I mean, long.
Oh, I missed this during my week, but for those of you that play the Bayonetta remake, so first person, okay, so what is it? X inverted, on is off. So they're switched. If you set inverted, so the inverted controls are labeled backwards. For Y inverted normal, they're also switched. On is off, and off is on. So if you want to play Y inverted, you have to set it to off, and if you want the X to stay normal, you have to switch that to on, and then you'll get a normal control scheme. And then if you want the first-person controls to be inverted, you have to say yes to the Y inverted axis, because it's not backwards, but the X is backwards.
Why?
Somebody that did the labeling on those inverted controls needs to be fired.
Or possibly just sober up.
Yeah, the only one that's not backwards is first-person Y-axis.
Can't even remember the first-person sections in Bayonetta.
They're a mini-game at the end of each level where you shoot the angels.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. It was so silly.
It was incredibly silly.
It's like a free 5,000 halos at the end of every mission. I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's true, but it's also very silly.
It is. So yeah, inverted control rant over. But yes, that is Spyro was the games that got me to it. That. But yeah, I don't know. Did you play either of y'all play Spyro?
I played little bits of it here and there.
No, because I was a Nintendo 64 person at that point, and frankly speaking, there were better offerings for platformers than the 64.
Frankly, at that point, I had Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I had Donkey Kong 64. I needed no other games.
I had an N64 at my house, but at my grandma's house there was a PlayStation 1, so that's where I got my Spyro in. So, yeah. I love the Spyro games. Although there are a lot of mini games of the third one, like skateboarding and stuff, which could be interesting with new controls because the originals are pretty
heavy. Yeah.
You fly around UFO spaceships as a dragon. Sometimes it's a little weird.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, honestly.
It was sort of at one of those weird times where people thought that like mini games were the way you made a good game. Like later on, the same phenomenon was like quick time events. Like, well, if you have tons of quick time events, it means your game is good.
In both cases, those people were wrong.
Yeah.
Playing through Bayonetta 1 again with the quick time events and cutscenes. I'm like, wait, what?
There's a grand total of one game franchise that has good QuickTime events, sort of. And that would be God of War.
It's the one that's known for them. I don't know if they're good, though.
Well, good compared to everyone else. I mean, it's not Call of Duty Ghosts.
Well, it's good until they got bored of using them well.
Well, yeah, until they just...
After that, they started phoning it in.
Yeah, until that point.
Like the very first Hydra fight thing is great, but before that, it's like,
Yeah, after a while, they just kind of stopped caring.
QuickTime events are okay if you have to push a button once. The second I have to start mashing or spinning the controller and I'm playing Mario Party, I'm not having fun anymore.
And more to the point, it doesn't happen in the middle of a cutscene completely out of the blue.
Bayonetta 1 looking at you. Thankfully, they don't do them in Bayonetta 2, but Bayonetta 1.
Yeah,
there's so many instant deaths because I forgot these were in the cutscenes.
Yep. Because it's a surprise, press a button. Paying attention? No? Oh, well, you're dead.
If you're watching this cutscene like it's a normal cutscene, a good way to check is press the pause button. If there's a skip option, there's no QuickTime event.
Yeah.
If there is not, start looking for a QuickTime event.
Yes, so, yeah, no time to put down the controller and unknot your fingers.
Yeah. So yeah,
Anyway.
I'm a big fan of the original Spyro trilogy. I would buy this day one.
I would like to play through the Spyro games with a bit of a refresh. That is not Skylanders.
Yeah, they need a new coat of paint.
Yeah, by the time I really got round to them, they had already aged, and they have not aged better since then. Oh dear. What's our next news article?
What happened? I thought I heard a sound saying that I disconnected, and I was a little bit.
Oh dear. No, Ari's gone poof.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't me. That's something, I guess.
Yes.
Hold on.
Oh dear.
I need to find my window again because Legiana's trying to eat me.
All right. Well, I think I know the article you're probably going to pick because you posted it.
Tell me what article I'm going to pick.
System Shock 2, the Kickstarter remake.
Right. Okay. So I didn't play System Shock. Like, it was one of those things that sort of slipped through the cracks for me, even though I was a PC gamer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play it, but although, you know, a lot of people have spilt a lot of ink on how BioShock is, you know, the successor to it. And
yes.
so forth. I don't know how true that is, but at any rate, it was untrue sufficiently enough that a Kickstarter project was funded in order to basically make a real remake of the original. But
yeah.
As unfortunately we have sort of come to expect, it turned into yet another example of why Kickstarter is not such a great idea. Because basically it sounds like the game has Star Citizen.
Yeah, but at least this time, for once, they've realised it.
Yes. So in this situation, it sounds like at some point, I don't know if they were receiving criticism or whether they had a soul-searching internal review or what, but they have come to the conclusion that they have gotten 1,000 miles off track of what they were actually intending to do.
Yeah.
What had happened, according to the article at Gematsu, is that they had at some point decided that they knew better than their backers what their backers wanted, and that, you know, the backers thought they wanted a System Shock remake, but they actually didn't. You know what I mean?
So yeah, they kept changing things, and before they realised that they had a new game on their hands, not System Shock.
Yeah. They were making some other game that was like System Shock, but was not System Shock, and did not have the attributes that the player base were actually searching for. But it seems like they came round at some point.
Yes.
And concluded that they needed to seriously rethink what they were doing. So they've basically suspended production, as far as I can tell, to go on a soul-searching journey of some kind.
See, now normally when a Kickstarter says we're suspending production, we're taking a hiatus, we're going back to rethink things, that's normally the first sign of complete doom.
Someone in the management has decided to empty the piggy bank and run.
Yes.
That's what it usually means. In this case, though, they've made an official statement that they absolutely intend to get back on track. It's just a matter of figuring out how they're going to do that.
Yes.
So, I guess, while they have fallen into what should be, by this point, an obvious trap, because it's happened to so many people so many times, at least in this case, they have recognised that it's happened. They've come out, they've made a statement about it, and they haven't decided that they're going to
take the money and run.
Star Citizen. They haven't Star Citizen and continued with an impossible project for an indefinite amount of time. They haven't gone silent and moved to the Maldives, and they haven't basically continued with this "you think you do but you don't" mentality. So I will give them props for that, but you know, it only goes to show these sort of here today, gone tomorrow companies who are funding their first big project via Kickstarter and didn't exist beforehand. They are only acting the way everybody said that they were going to react, the way such things have always acted.
Mm-hmm.
And just stop backing everything on Kickstarter, guys. Really.
If you
I don't care how much you like System Shock. That was something that happened way back when.
If you're going to do back something on Kickstarter, do your research. Like a lot of research.
The sort of research that you need to do though is sort of far beyond what is worth doing for the bulk of people who make $5 to $25 investments, because what you really need to know is their internal company structure and just what is the producer's record like for completing projects.
Yes,
you really need to look at the dudes at the highest point in the company making the game and see.
Oh, look, it's Tim Schafer. Run.
Yeah, Tim Schafer's the director though, and that was the problem.
Yes,
the director was somebody famous. The producer was somebody nobody knew about.
Yes,
and you need, in order to handle a diva director, you need a very, very strong-willed producer.
Yep, or a producer with a really big stick.
Big stick would help.
Which I think Rod Gilbert had.
Yeah, I think that part of the problem though with Tim Schafer was that everybody there probably went mad with power when they realised how much money they were going to get.
Schafer certainly did.
Yeah, and I think that madness, because nobody had seen it happen before, that madness got the better of them. Maybe things wouldn't have gone quite so bad if it happened today rather than back then. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's sort of hard to say. And I think that they've had a negative effect on the whole Kickstarter thing by altering expectations both in a positive and negative direction, and further by proving to people that you can get a large amount of money out of people and normalizing that sort of behavior. Which I mean, like, crowdfunding is not a terrible idea qua crowdfunding, but the reality is it's very, very unlikely that you're going to get exactly what you hope for.
Yeah. The Double Fine Adventure Broken Age, for example. Yeah. Which was fine, but it wasn't what people wanted, and it wasn't what people expected. So yeah, I suppose take every Kickstarter with a huge bucket of salt.
You can't get enough of that salt.
No, there's plenty of it around. Just look around any other Kickstarter where things have gone slightly awry. There's plenty of salt there. But yeah, this one, it might pull through, but because they said they're taking the hiatus, that's, red flag number 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, hiatuses are really dodgy, generally speaking. Like this, it's not necessarily, a cynical attempt to try and make people forget about everything. But the reality is that that's what will happen. A lot of people will forget, and that forgetfulness is going to cost them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to keep enthusiasm high on these projects. What is going to happen when they come back from their hiatus? I don't know how long their hiatus will be. Let's say their hiatus will be 6 months. When they come back in 6 months, all of the people who are interested in the project, most of them will have drifted away. The people who are working on the project, they're going to come back and they're going to say, all right, guys, we need to salvage this project that we almost put into the toilet. Now we need to build up the enthusiasm to really work hard on something that we already dismissed as an inferior idea to what we wanted to do before.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be coming from a real bad place. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for them. I mean,
it can be done.
To them, but
certainly can be done.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
We got a few things. The only other thing is something you posted, Fern. Well, there's the Steam thing. I guess we can do the Steam thing.
There's a couple of things. So yeah, go with the Steam thing.
So the other must-cover thing for this week is Steam updated their wish list to not be terrible. So that information we had with Steam doing some rollouts and some updates to things are finally happening. And the Steam wish list is now usable.
It actually has
useful
features.
Yeah, like you can rank your games more easily. You can quickly go to the store page for the game now. You can see the general overall review score. You can see the release date of the game. You can see the tags. You can see the platforms the game is available for. You can see when that person put it on their wish list. Like, this information is now available to you.
Yes. So you can tell if it's something someone's just stuck on their wish list and forgotten about.
Yeah, like that weird $10 game they've had on there since 2014. They forgot was on there.
I've got a lot of those. I've got to clean my wish list out.
I tend to go through mine about every 2 or 3 years and clean it out.
Yeah, that might not be often enough.
I let mine accumulate ad infinitum.
Yeah.
So,
I used to
full
do
of
that,
junk.
but I kind of hit every now and again. I'll hit a point where I just go through and because oh, that game looks like it could be interesting, or I might check that out at some point and stick them all on there and never go back to them.
I have cleaned mine out before though, usually because I go through and say, you know what, that looked good at first glance, but I'm actually not that interested given the amount of time that I have to play games.
Yeah.
That's the usual reaction. It's like, you know, if I got that, would I play it? No, I wouldn't, because
No.
I have all these other things.
And I would be more enthused about this update if gifting across countries was still a thing I could actually do.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still salty about that. Extraordinarily salty.
You can only do
This
it
would make-
if the planets align correctly, and your wallet.
Everybody not in the U.S. got Devil May Cry 4 last Christmas because the only game I could send.
Yep. It's not a bad game though. At least
It's
it
not,
wasn't
it's
a
not
bad
a
game.
but it's not like it was on everybody's wish list.
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have done the discount everybody gets the same game before when I'm broke, but not because I couldn't send the game. Literally, it's the only thing I could send you. Please take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I eventually gave up. I couldn't find anything. Like, our currency is radically different to the Australian currency. Like, I don't know whether I'm working from a greater advantage or a greater or lesser disadvantage when I'm in New Zealand with currency that's worth a lot less than the Australian and American currencies. Because, I mean, relatively speaking, the Australian and American currencies are vastly more compatible. But I eventually gave up. There were people, like, including Fern, who I tried for, like, a full couple hours on Steam to find something that I could buy for him.
You got locked out a few times.
Yeah, I did. I got locked out several times because I tried to buy so many things and it thought that I was a bot.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not happy about this change
It's
at
like
all.
there's multiple axes on which they have refused to take my money here.
We're trying to legitimately give you money, and you're
So
refusing
why are
it.
you afraid of money and success?
Like, just we could not have gotten burned harder by this.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Oh,
I want to
boy.
play Santa at Christmas. It's a thing I love doing, and I can't play Santa at Christmas anymore. Everybody gets Devil May Cry. I hope you like Devil May Cry.
Everyone has give the gift of Dante.
Well, it's better than him giving the gift of Dino. He could have done that.
Don't
You
do
could've
that
been the
unless you
Grinch.
really hate people. You can do that to
You
someone
get
you
up-
hate.
You get Uncle Dante and Nero. And Virgil. And Trish and Lady now.
Yes. You know, the good characters. Not Dino. Alright.
But yeah, wish lists are organized, so if you can actually buy people stuff, the wish list is usable now. I recommend you all go to your wish list and fix them. It's a thing I'll have to put on the to-do list.
It might take a while to go through mine. Oh dear.
Yep.
Alright.
Mine was mostly Neptunia games, and then people bought me all the Neptunia games.
Pim bought me a chunk of them one year just out of the blue. I forgot they were on my wish list.
Be careful
love
what you
Neptunia
ask for,
games.
is all I can say there.
Neptunia games can take a very long time to play, so...
But
Yeah.
they're incredibly silly, but they're not overly good.
Well, yeah,
Most of
there's
the
that,
time.
but there's also this sort of... It's a bit of an issue that their difficulty curve can be all over the place. And when it comes to such a simple JRPG, difficulty curve functionally means how long have you grinded for.
Yes.
And occasionally there'll just be a leap where right, I just got one shot by that storyline boss that I naturally progressed to.
Gotta
so
go
I guess I need
grind.
to stop and grind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they also are pretty good at luring you along the way to get things, because when you grind in an area, you unlock another area which allows you to grind for something which would be slightly better. But while you're there, you'll pick up things that will unlock another area which will allow you to grind for something better. They're very good at doing that and then breadcrumbing you along to things you had no intention of doing originally.
And by the way, if you're wondering why I didn't give shoutouts to anybody who got me Steam games on my birthday, it's because they couldn't.
Yes.
I normally do that every year, but not this year because Steam won't let them.
Yep. And it's even worse because, yeah, Steam sale. The Steam's covered in dogs. But,
Dogs.
Dogs.
I could be covered in dog games right now, but nope, Steam don't want people's money.
It's annoying, actually. A lot of the games on sale don't have anything to do with dogs.
I still want to know how Disgaea 2 has anything to do with dogs.
If it was Disgaea 4, at least you could claim it's got something to do with dog.
It has Fenric. He counts as a dog, I suppose.
He's a werewolf.
Close
enough.
I think all of the Trails games are on.
Yeah,
are on sale
yeah.
as
Trails
well.
are in there.
I don't think there are any dogs in Trails.
Anyway,
Actually, there is in the first town in Trails in the Sky Chapter 1. There's like a kid chasing his dog around the town.
okay. It has a dog in it. Game
So
is immediately improved.
There's a dog in it. Yeah.
Yes.
TV sports dog.
TV sports dog. And yes, the Koa Duty dog is on the promotional banner. All right, we got two little things left. One's a rumor, which I think everyone's just sitting around being smug about, which is that Disney is rethinking their partnership with EA after
Big
everything.
Surprise.
Yeah.
It's been one disaster after another. The games that EA has been released under the Disney's banner have been either mediocre or surrounded in drama, or in a couple of cases, just outright bad.
And all three of us called this at some point on the show.
I think a lot of people have
That
at
was
this point.
terribly hard.
No,
Yeah,
no,
we called it. It was pretty obvious it was going to happen.
you can only really abuse a franchise for so long, and I know that the directors might not, but of the movies really don't. But Disney still cares about Star Wars because Star Wars could potentially make them a lot of money still. And
The fact that they care about money so much is probably part of why the Star Wars movies are so bad.
yeah. The mouse. You do not mess with the mouse though, and more importantly, you don't mess with the mouse's wallet. So there's rumors going on that Disney reps have been talking to Activision and Ubisoft about potential partnerships.
Basically, all of the other big players.
Yeah. So anyone from Disney who's listening, because we said Disney on this show, and they're pretty on top of that sort of thing, don't partner with Activision because Destiny 2.
Don't partner with Ubisoft because we don't want to look at Luke having an inside-out face.
No. We actually want a Star Wars game that has been finished.
Well, at least this is too late for Star Wars to get added to Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I suppose.
DLC.
Yeah, that's also possible now.
Yeah. I'd like there not to be story DLC. Like, please don't lock the end of Kingdom Hearts behind a story. That would be a paywall. That would be incredibly dumb.
Squeenix did it with Final Fantasy, the big franchise they recently had. They could do it.
To be fair, like, let's say you got to the end of the Kingdom Hearts story, except it wasn't the end because there was DLC. Would you know?
No,
Like,
probably not.
Would you understand the story well enough to tell?
Probably
well,
not.
You would have had to have owned, 5 different consoles to play all the games, all of which are story relevant?
Yes. Yeah, DS, or DS 3DS as the one, the PS2 for the first 2 games, PS3
GBA.
for the remakes and the extra little bits and pieces in there, the PSP, and your mobile.
And GBA.
And the GBA, yes, that's right. Chain of Memories was on GBA.
I think they ported it to consoles, though. So you might be able to get away with that one.
Yeah, I think they put it up to 3D. Oh, it was in the 1.5 whatchamacallit.
But still, you need a billion different consoles to understand what the heck is going on. But Clem's is doing a whole breakdown of it, so you could just go watch his videos, I guess.
Yeah, I've played
It's going to take an eternity.
fair few.
He's only 2 games in so far, and they're each 30 minutes plus long.
Yeah, if you can actually understand the story in Kingdom Hearts, then you're some sort of mind wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan because the story is so convoluted.
Or you could just play
Not
it
really
for what...
good convoluted either.
No. Or you could just play it for the reasons most people play and say, oh look, Final Fantasy characters. Oh look, Disney characters. And they're doing things.
Yeah, that's not enough to sell me because I'm not a huge Disney fan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Disney.
that Disney being a Disney fan is the thing that sells the game anymore. Like there may be a Kingdom Hearts 1, but I think that Kingdom Hearts now sells to Kingdom Hearts fans.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Which is its own unique thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could lock it behind it. They could totally do it. We could see
please.
Star Wars DLC.
Please don't. Just don't. That's horrible.
Square Enix has been on the DLC train lately. They could do it.
Alright, well how about this? If Disney's actually listening, here's a hint. See those guys over the other side of the world? They're called CD Projekt Red. Go talk to them.
Imagine how dark Star Wars would get.
I'd like it though. I think they could do a good Star Wars story.
Yeah, but Star Wars is essentially a story for children.
Witcher has
Just look at Episode 1.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
a story
want
for
to.
children.
I don't want to.
As in Episode 1, as in meaning Episode 4.
No.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
to some extent, but not just that. I like that one is compatible with children, very compatible with children.
Yes. Episode 1 has Jar Jar Binks on it, and we should not speak of it.
I mean, he's canon character, man.
He ruined the Republic. It's canon. Jar Jar Binks caused the fall of the Republic.
Does he even know?
Probably not.
Probably died at some point.
Probably. Hopefully.
Yeah, I wonder if there was like a story explaining what happened to Jar Jar.
There is. It's in the animated series. One of the few bits of extended canon they left. It's in there.
I mean, I remember seeing in whatever that cartoon was, the Clone Wars. I remember seeing an episode where Jar Jar Binks was acting as an ambassador to some place or other and stuff like that. But I don't know, like if he met a sticky end or anything.
Well, considering that was still a kids' series, he probably. Well, actually, no, that's not quite true. There's bad guys in that who reach some really sticky ends. Like, the lead singer of Max Rebo's band. She gets shot in the face.
Wasn't it like by a hut or something?
Yeah, by an incredibly flamboyant hut. Who also gets shot in the face.
Flamboyant hut.
He was purple.
There's a reason I use Jar Jar Binks to censor myself when I get upset about stuff and say "excuse me."
Yeah, because it's very silly.
Because it replaces garbage with garbage without swearing.
Marvelous.
But I wonder if you could even do that series today, with everybody so hypersensitive about everything. Because it was a very sort of traditional cartoon series, surprisingly. Like it hit most of the sort of the notes of like there's a surprising amount of violence in old kids cartoons.
Oh my, yes.
Compared to the sort of soft peddling they tend to do today. But yeah.
Yeah. Let's not go back and talk about things like Ren and Stimpy and stuff like that. They were originally marketed to kids.
I never liked Ren and Stimpy.
I never liked Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy just made me cringe every time I saw anything of them.
Yeah, it looked too nasty.
It was just gross. It was gross out, and that was its entire point.
It was so SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is just SpongeBob.
I never understood SpongeBob, even as a kid.
Nah.
I didn't like it. Didn't understand Rugrats either, or any of the Nick shows. I just didn't get them. They just look too ugly for me.
Yeah, Classically Supo has a rather unique art style. But it did give us our childhood fill of Tim Curry. So it's not all bad.
It's true. Tim Curry.
Yes, Nigel Thornberry all over the place.
Rather watch sitcoms on Disney than watch Nick back then. Ugh, I don't know why it was popular.
It's because the other options were, 20-year-old Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Some of which are great.
Some of which were great. The original Scooby-Doo, until they added Scrappy, was excellent. It's even telling...
Scrappy was now legendary.
Yeah, it's telling when the newest modern series of Scooby-Doo are self-parodying, and they will pan out on Scrappy. There's... I think it was... what was the series called? Mystery Inc. They're actually walking through a museum of their old previous monsters that they've unmasked. And they see Scrappy in the corner. Daphne just says, "It's so horrible! Look away, Daphne. We'll never speak of this again.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's actually
isn't
fun.
that basically what that Simpsons episode with Poochie was parodying?
More or less, yeah. I must go, my people need me. It was, except, yeah, the phase out of Scrappy was a bit more gradual. Not just one cell flying off the screen. Anyway, last bit of news, because we've tangented horrendously.
This isn't really a piece
what
of
we
news.
do.
Nah. Nisa did a thing.
But it didn't really announce anything.
No.
Like, nothing anybody cares about. There's no another Toho game. People might know that. There's the birthday thing, like, and there was a Labyrinth of Refrain game that I'm not sure about. There was no Disgaea news, no other big franchises, so pretty disappointing presser. I mostly put this in case there was nothing later in the week, but we had other stuff.
Yeah. So we can just mention that Nisa did a thing and did nothing at that thing.
Still no Disgaea, so
yeah.
Despite being on the banner.
They just wanted to draw people in with potential new Disgaea stories. And it was a lie. Yeah. It was all lies.
Yeah.
Was like, how dare they lie to us like this?
I know, right?
Yeah, they've already announced SNK Heroines. We saw the same trailer. I mean, the Yeast game coming to Switch, we already knew about that. Yeah, not anything to talk about in this thing.
Yeah.
Really disappointing presser.
Well, I mean, the reality is that every presser can't be gold. Nobody's got the sort of money to announce something massive every presser. There's going to be a damp squib now and again.
Or you could just not hold a presser unless you've got something big to announce.
I don't know if that's an option. Like, it might be an option, but I'm being serious here. I don't know if that's an option. It might be just a thing that you have to do in order to maintain investor confidence. Is to do a presser every X months.
More than that with Nisa specifically. They do a yearly conference at this time, so it would look weird if they didn't do it.
True.
But yeah, fat lot of nothing happened.
Fat lot of nothing. Alright, we should probably start wrapping up then.
Yep. Email topic of the week is...
You keep saying you're going to stop giving them.
Yeah, and he never does.
Yeah. I don't know. You can... I don't know. What do you think of Spyro games? There you go. Talk to me about those. They don't know anything about Spyro, and I don't have anybody to talk to about Spyro.
Who would be better at handling the Star Wars game franchise than EA? And
there you go.
You could just write practically anyone on the list, and it would be an option. Team Cherry,
right.
Do that.
What happens if you write Double Fine though?
No. Well, they couldn't do any worse, I suppose. They'd probably just cancel games all over the place as well.
Yeah. At least when they came out with a game, you would have a game, at least. You wouldn't have to pay $50 billion to get the whole thing with loot boxes.
Yes, randomly.
Yeah. Closing comments go.
Can we just stop with the really horrible DLC practices, please? Just go back to you buy what you get.
Yeah, I don't want no more season passes. I don't like them.
Yes.
They're here to stay, unfortunately.
It's like selling people products that not only do they not exist, but you don't even know what they're going to be.
Yeah, if you're going to sell a season pass, maybe sell it at the end once all the DLC is released.
I would be fine with DLC if they would just give me a finished game. That's all I want.
I'd like DLC as a finished game. Yeah, and it's something extra on top. I like that when that happens.
Like, I could stomach any DLC policy out there and still make fun of the bad ones, but I could at least stomach it if they would just give me finished games. That's all I want. Just companies give me finished games. Don't Ubisoft or EA me.
Yes.
Or Activision me. Or Squeenix me. Or any of the other big companies.
Coming up with an awful lot of things that they are not allowed to do to you now.
Yeah, basically don't be any big company.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Somebody sent me a picture. Anyway, so yeah. I'm gonna keep beating people up with the power of Hot Topic and Bayonetta.
Yes, that jumpsuit. Oh dear. All right, let's get out of here, shall we?
All right. I need to pee, so we will see y'all. I will see y'all next week, or we will see y'all next week, same time and stuff. Ugh, I've had a long week. I'm really tired. So we'll see you next week, folks. Sayonara. Bye bye.